serious?
No, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I'm Bev Turner. Thank you for joining us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. An historic day in sports.
Yes, Arsenal win the Premier League for the first time in 22 years.
And an unprecedented situation for Southampton as the team is kicked out of the Championship playoff final for spying.
What does this mean for millions of fans across the world? And could they even indeed lose millions of pounds too?
Well, you know what seemed quite amusing a few days ago has now turned very serious, and Southampton are appealing the decision, which needs to be finalised today because the Wembley final is just 3 days away now.
Elsewhere today, the Chancellor goes to war with the supermarkets. Rachel Reeves is set to pressure the supermarkets to cap food prices for essential items like milk, eggs and bread. But some retailers are accusing the government of demonising them.
And the Prime Minister is handed a blueprint for introducing digital IDs without sparking public backlash.
The latest inflation figures are set to be released in 1 hour's time. Will it be good news for the economy? Stay tuned to find out.
And the victim of a horrific anti-Semitic attack in Golders Green this week describes the harrowing ordeal to GB News.
It feels like dark time in 1940 that happened there. Do you know about like the Holocaust, that some people attack Jewish people?
A celebration with a royal twist. Different communities from across Northern Ireland coming together for a special preview of this summer's flower.
And the King and Queen's first day in Northern Ireland went off without a hitch. That's despite the rain.
Temperatures are on the rise, but there's still a few showers in the mix. I'll have all of the details coming up shortly.
Good morning, it's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast.
There were scenes of jubilation in North London last night.
There were.
In certain parts of North London last night, we should say.
Sorry. And there was also lots of unhappiness in parts of North London, I should also say.
And in this studio.
And in this studio, in this very studio, and in this very newsroom.
Yeah.
But Arsenal have won their first Premier League title in 22 years after Manchester City were held to a 1-1 draw at Bournemouth.
Yes, Pep Guardiola's side dropped points in their penultimate match, the game in which they handed their rivals. It's the first time the Gunners have been champions since 2004.
Yes, Paul Coit is here with us. Morning, Coity. Sorry,
Morning.
It's a bit painful for you to discuss.
Yeah, you know what?
Hats off to them, though.
Absolutely. I mean, 22 years, like you say, 22 years since they last won the title, and under Mikel Arteta, this has been building. And I think most people have tipped Arsenal over the last 3 or 4 years. This is going to be Arsenal's year. This is going to be Arsenal's year. And the whole thing about bottling it, which has been thrown at Arsenal for years, they've obviously proved that they have the stomach to get through, because it looked like there was going to be a change. When they actually lost at Manchester City, they'd thrown away a huge lead at the top of the Premier League, and then it was in Man City's hands, and then things turned around again. But, I mean, that's it. Jubilation. See, the thing is, you probably, I mean, it doesn't really matter to Arsenal fans. You want to win it probably on the pitch. But
yes, I was gonna say,
it's very similar to when Leicester did it 10 years ago, and then we saw all the scenes and they were all at home. And the Arsenal players, although it wasn't the case of Mikel Arteta, because we heard from him yesterday saying he's going to be at home. But all the players were there together at the training ground, watched it, and that's what those scenes we're seeing now.
Incredible.
So, yeah, I mean, look at that.
Look at the jubilation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's kids alive today who never would have seen Arsenal win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So that's how long it's been, 22 years, for a top team as well.
Well, you know what's interesting is that the amount of different sports people I've spoken to over the years, not just in football, but we're talking about athletes, it could be any sport. When you get over the line, and I've often said, so what is the feeling when you actually do it? And often it's more relief than it is jubilation.
Right.
They look extremely happy there,
Yeah,
but there's more of a relief because the pressure, which just builds and builds and builds, and this is what they've been playing for so long. And then eventually, when it happens, that's the overriding feeling. Well, they've got another game at Crystal Palace, but that's going to be away. They probably want to have that last game at the Emirates, but that's going to be at Crystal Palace. So they don't have to worry about that now.
And they're going into it as champions, aren't they?
Absolutely.
That's the reality.
Yeah, it's all done and dusted.
The pressure's off either way.
Absolutely.
They'll still want to win that game, though, you would have thought, as champions. You don't want to lose the game that they've just been crowned champions.
Absolutely. Of course they will.
I'm just looking at all the back pages, most of them going on Arsenal, saying they've gone and done it, champions, party time. But one, the eye, and this is a massive story, isn't it? Southampton booted out of the playoffs over spygate drama.
Well, as I mentioned just now, I mean, we were probably, you get a wry smile about something like this. You think, spying in football, I mean, how bad is it? Well, it's turned out very, very bad for Southampton Football Club and their supporters. This is who you feel sorry for, is the fans more than anybody else. Because they were looking great. They've had a really good season. They knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup. They were doing extremely well. They get to the playoff finals. They beat Middlesbrough. And then they're at Wembley, which is on Saturday. So then we hear about this spygate situation. So there's someone else I feel sorry for, and this is the kid. I say he's a kid. He's an intern analyst. He's the one that's been sent over to Middlesbrough's training ground to film what's going on.
And this is the guy behind the tree.
Well, I mean, there you go. I mean, the thing is, then he was followed. Go on, just go and film it. OK, no problem. So then he gets stopped. Then Middlesbrough find out, see exactly what's going on. Then all hell breaks loose. They complain to the EFL. Then you've got a hearing. They've made it to the final. And I thought, well, what's going to happen? Maybe a fine, maybe points deduction. Well, they've got a points deduction for 2 other games that they were caught spying on because they've admitted it.
Yes.
But this is huge, that they have now been kicked out of what they call well, it's really the richest game in football because it's worth £200 million. I mean, the number varies around all over the place, but they're out. Now, they're going to appeal today. Well, of course they're going to appeal, but the decision needs to be made immediately because the game's on Saturday. You've got 35,000 fans from each team will be going along. So Southampton, I think they were sort of holding off just in case. Middlesbrough are going to put all their tickets on sale. It's incredible.
And what were they going to be planning to do now? They won't know who they're playing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they won't know who to send their people over to go and watch them train. So they won't know where to go in this.
A badly disguised intern anywhere.
Exactly. But it will be Middlesbrough. I can't see that this is going to be turned around. If they do have some sort of appeal, and if there is some comeback, it could be a fact of going, OK, well, maybe we'll save you the points from next season. But it's a disaster, and what happens, they need to get to the bottom of who decided that they were going to do this, because it's stupid. It's so stupid, and it probably wouldn't make much difference to what's been going on. And to get found out, the consequences are unbelievable.
Just very briefly, fans would have bought tickets, right? So would the Southampton fans get a rebate? Would they get the tickets?
As we said, I don't think they were careful about putting these tickets on sale because they didn't know exactly what was going to happen. So they were nervous about it. But
because that's the people who look. This is a game of sport. It's entertainment, right? I don't want to boil it down to that, but this is what it's all about. And it's not just the fans who've bought tickets. It's the fans all over the world because this is a big game.
Yeah, but the bottom line is what? It's money. The bottom line is money. It's worth, like I said, £200 million to go to the Premier League. This is where everybody wants to be. But you cannot excuse who's done this. I don't think it goes. I mean, I'm just surmising. I don't believe that there will be owners involved in this. I think we're looking a little lower and think, right, let's just get everything we can. And it's just so ridiculous because the downside of doing this and getting caught far outweighs what they will get out of it.
Do you think that spying could be more widespread than just Southampton?
Well, we've seen it before. We saw it with Leeds, Marcelo Bielsa a few years ago. But the thing is, new rules were brought in.
Right.
So at the time, that was pretty unprecedented. We've seen it as well with Canada's coach, with women's football as well, that also got banned for a year. So we are seeing a lot more of this because that's the margins in sport between the best is so fine. So any advantage you can get. But like I say, the fact that they've got caught, I mean, my goodness me. I mean, was it worth it? Was it really worth it?
No.
Could they have done it without it? I think, yes, they've got a good side. They've spent a lot of money, but they've just really blown it for themselves. And this is something that is now going to be with Southampton Football Club for a very long time to come.
I feel for the fans, I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always the fans that end up paying because they've got nothing to do with it.
All right, Paul.
Thanks, Coity.
Big story.
Yeah, 2 massive stories overnight.
All right, look, let's have a quick look at what else is coming into the newsroom.
Young drivers are being targeted by ghost brokers selling fake car insurance online. This is according to the finance watchdog. The Financial Conduct Authority has warned that half of drivers aged 16 to 25 have bought policies through social media or messaging apps, many of which turn out to be scams.
James Roscoe, the deputy to Britain's ambassador in Washington, has abruptly left his post. The Foreign Office declined to give an explanation as to why, of course. He played a key role in President Donald Trump's state visit to the UK and in the King's, of course, recent state visit to the United States.
Now, at 10 minutes past 6, the Treasury is reportedly planning to urge major supermarkets to introduce price caps on everyday essentials like milk and eggs.
And that's after food inflation climbed to 3.7% in April. Petrol prices have also hit their highest level since the start of the Iran war, putting more pressure on everyone's budgets at home. It is really, really tough for people.
Yeah, people are really feeling the pinch.
And that 3.4%, that's, of course, on top of all the other years prior. You know, this is not just this one-off this year. We're talking about the massive inflation we've seen over the last 4 years too.
Yeah, and we are expecting food inflation to continue to spike, aren't we, with the Iran war? Anyway, let's speak to former Mayor of Middlesbrough, Andy Preston, who joins us in the studio this morning. Morning to you, Andy. What do you make of these plans?
It's a massive development. It might not seem too dramatic, but this doesn't happen in countries like Britain. It's a sign that the government is in crisis, and it's a sign there's a bit of panic out there. I think because things could get much worse. Now, what the supermarkets are going to say is that they're being demonised. What the public don't perhaps realise is that supermarkets work on tiny margins. They're working on 2% a year. So of all the goods they sell, they're making 2 pence for every pound you spend. They're being demonised. They're putting under huge pressure. But this is a sign to the public that the government is really scared.
Yes. Yeah, it certainly seems to be the case. Now, the reality is the Chancellor's calling for price caps. Now, everywhere around the world where anyone who's tried this, take Venezuela as an example, a more recent example, what it's done is actually pushes the cost of food everywhere else up. In fact, it's actually made some of those items so unaffordable that the people have gone hungry in Venezuela. A price cap is really not the best way to solve a food inflation crisis, is it?
Alex, there's almost no evidence that this does any good at all. In fact, there's lots of evidence that it makes things worse. There's a really eminent economist, Paul Johnson, former head of the IFS, independent, not politically aligned. He said yesterday that he never thought in his lifetime he'd see a government intervene in food prices. So this is really unusual, and it shows that at the heart of government there is a panic that things could get worse. Yeah. But it's the political ramifications that are huge. No government survives inflation because it hits you every day in the pocket, gives you a panic and a gnaw in the belly when you go shopping in the supermarket. This usually spells the end of every government.
Yes.
What other options does the Chancellor have on the table? Because we know that the supermarkets aren't happy with this one. They feel as though, as you say, they're being demonised.
A safer option is to reduce taxes or target money at the poorest. So if you're worried that the very poorest people are really struggling to buy the essentials from their local supermarket, there can be targeted help via councils with food vouchers and special crisis money.
Yeah, but the reality is that Britain, we are, as a country, we are not self-sufficient when it comes to our own food. We import, I think, is it 40%, 30% of our own food into this country. Farmers are being targeted with new taxes. They are complaining that it's tough for them. And we're looking at potential weather conditions as well. One bad harvest, it's not good. And, of course, we've got fertiliser shortages, potentially, because as we were talking about the other day on this show, we know that the IEA, the International Energy Agency, are saying there's only weeks left of oil. So that's got a knock-on effect to fertiliser too, which, of course, would then massively put the prices up.
Absolutely, Alex. All the signs are there. This could get much worse. And again, this comes back to a political issue. But this is a political move. What Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer are trying to do is win favour with the public. If they're seen to be bashing the supermarkets and acting on it for the consumer, that looks good for them. But actually, around the world, this looks like something of a panic move, and it won't do any good.
Yeah.
There's a supermarket source talking to The Times this morning, making the point that if the government is trying to pursue a growth agenda, it's extraordinary that you're trying to control what businesses are charging. What do you make of that point of view?
Ellie, they came in talking about growth. The primary mission was growth, and I have to say, the only thing that is growing is the cost of petrol and the cost of food. Everything else is flatlining. It's going exactly the opposite way that the government intended. And this, around the world, looks like a panic measure. It won't go down well.
It does indeed. Can I very, very briefly ask you, Andy? I know you haven't come in to talk about this, but a lot happened last week. A lot happened. It's been all overshadowed by what's happening in the Labour psychodrama, which we can't really get into now because we've entered a period of purdah. However, the King's speech contained quite a lot of information. One of the things people were celebrating quite recently was the end of digital ID. And there were celebrations online. People go, oh, it's all over. But the government is still pressing ahead with it. In what way would digital ID be palatable for you if I say to you, you've got to have digital ID, Andy?
That's a very good question, because when it was first talked about, most of the public were pretty relaxed about it. Actually, all the opinion polling showed that about 2/3 of people quite welcomed it, because what was talked about was being able to cut out crime, catch people that shouldn't be here illegally, and make sure that fraud was reduced. So everybody loves that. As we dug down to the details, people became a bit more uncomfortable, but more importantly thought, well, if we agree to this now, where does it end? This goes on a journey and makes things quite sinister. So the government lost the argument. It's staggering that they brought it back in, especially, Alex, at a time when they're politically weak. It seems like they snuck it in there, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it surprised everybody. I was surprised. I can't see them going through with it. They make lots of U-turns. I'll make a prediction. They will U-turn on this.
Oh, this would be number 17.
I can't keep up anymore.
17th U-turn?
I don't know what I don't know what number U-turn it is, but it is completely bonkers to think that they would still press ahead with digital ID, despite it being unpopular across every political party, including the Labour Party's own side when it's been polled.
But again, I think the issue has been comms, and we see it time and time again with this government. We had so many government rounds, didn't we, on this programme, where the reason for digital ID kept changing.
Absolutely.
We're talking about it stopping immigration, then it was illegal working, and then it's to help the NHS, and then it's to help with paperwork and kind of streamlining the system. It adds to this issue that people have with trust.
It's trust. And when people don't know what your motives are, they begin to fear the worst, don't they? And that's an issue. But you're right, it's communication. Every economist will say the government has tried to do some quite sensible things, but the way they've explained it has terrified people and alienated the public. This has been a catastrophically bad government at telling people why it's doing things and what it's trying to achieve.
It certainly has. Well, look, Andy, thank you so much for joining us so far on these stories this morning. Lots more to come, including this. The latest data from a leading debt relief charity shows it's becoming much more difficult for people to repay unmanageable debt.
All of these stories tie in this morning, don't they? How difficult it's getting for families across this country. The average debt levels facing their clients has soared from £2,300 to £4,300 since 2014. That is a rise of almost 90%. Well, our Yorkshire and Humber reporter Anna Riley has the story.
I was actually suicidal. I ended up in a psychiatric hospital.
Hopeless and penniless, Dean wanted to end his life. His health declined and he'd lost his job. Unable to pay the bills, Dean fell into debt.
I'd never been out of work. And then finding myself disabled after having surgery came as a big shock. My bills were pay as you go, but it got to a stage where I was sitting for days with no eating, no gas, so I was just nothing.
With the help of Christians Against Poverty, Dean recovered. He's one of 35,000 people that have become debt-free after assistance from the charity, who partner with local churches.
The wages of the people I've come across, they say that there is no progression in their work, there's no chance of promotion. In fact, the cost of living and the living wage doesn't equate to the cost of food. The cost of petrol has escalated recently. I mean, that is something that powers to be, they can do something about that.
Since Christians Against Poverty began 30 years ago, more than £500 million of debt has been repaid or written off.
God did not want us to live in debt. He forgive us our debts, and He wants us to forgive others, and not just forgiving them, empowering them to be out of debt.
With over a third of adults in Britain worrying about their finances every day, some fear there could be more stories like Dean's. But with the help of charities like this one, budgeting support is out there. Anna Riley, GB News.
Well, we all know it's coming, don't we, with this lovely weather on the way.
I hope so. Is it going to happen today, or do we have to wait till tomorrow?
I think you've got to wait a couple of days.
Oh.
Got to wait a couple of days. But that's good. You know it's on the horizon, but let's see what Catherine Chalk thinks about the weather today.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. After a showery day yesterday, it is going to be drier out there today with sunny spells. Still a few showers around, and it is going to be feeling warmer before those temperatures do start to rise later on in the week. So a lot of cloud around first thing this morning, some hill fog in places, but the cloud will tend to lift and break up. We'll see some glimmers of sunshine, a few showers around, especially across the central parts of England. The focus for the showers, though, through today is going to be across Scotland. Some of those merging into longer spells of rain to the far north into Orkney. Still quite breezy out there, but temperatures rising 18 to 21 degrees in the best of any sunny spells. As we head through this evening then, we see that band of showery rain across Orkney and Shetland gradually push its way northwards. Showers persisting across much of northern parts of Scotland. To the south, some late evening sunshine. Cloudy across Northern Ireland, and that persisting into northern England, into much of Wales and the southwest of England. But most of the showers will start easing and fading away as we go through the evening and into the night. So across the south, generally holding on to dry conditions overnight, but out towards the west, cloud and further spells of rain moving into Northern Ireland, into Wales, northern England, and eventually ending into southern parts of Scotland. With the cloud of rain around, temperatures will be holding up, so it's going to be another mild start to Thursday morning, only lows around 9 to 12 degrees. So a damp picture first thing on Thursday morning across northern parts of England and into Scotland, with outbreaks of rain here. Showery outbreaks of rain possible across Wales as well. Best of the sunshine through Thursday afternoon is going to be across the south of England, and here temperatures rising nicely in the sunshine, highs of up to 24 degrees. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, Married at First Sight UK has been pulled from all streaming platforms. We're going to be talking about that and the new Strictly presenters which have been named. We're talking about all of that next.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Police have urged potential victims of sexual assault who appeared on the Channel 4 reality show Married at First Sight to get in touch with them. That's, of course, after female participants made allegations of rape and sexual misconduct.
Well, let's speak now to entertainment journalist Stephanie Tetchy, who joins us now. Morning to you, Steph. These are really shocking allegations, aren't they, for a household show?
It's absolutely horrible, Ellie. You know, this has been one of the best loved shows, which is supposed to be providing entertainment to the country and which a lot of young people watch. You know, reality TV has such influence on the UK TV scene. And to hear of these allegations that have come out is just horrible, because over the past few years, there's just been such a big push in the TV industry to make sure that contestants have the right welfare. And clearly this has gone amiss for Channel 4 on this programme. And what I always see with such, you know, exposés that comes out, this is just the beginning. You know, 3 people have come forward now, and I think over the next few weeks or months, we're just going to see this snowball effect of more and more people coming out and talking about their time on the show. And it's just horrible. It's what I've read and what I've heard. I actually know one of the contestants, Shona, and when she was on the show, she loved it. But coming off the show, she said she just felt her light had gone off. And I think producers have definitely failed these contestants here.
Do you think this is the end of the show, Steph? Can it come back from all of this?
I don't think it can come back because, you know, it's been tarnished. We're not dealing with like little, you know, rumours or things gone wrong. We're talking about rape here. And that is such a big thing that's going to be having to get investigated. And also the government are saying that there needs to be tougher measures here. So from the time the government is getting involved in a reality TV show, I think it's going to be very hard for it to make a comeback. And as well, are contestants going to feel safe going on a show like that? I highly doubt it.
And Steph, as well, this is not just a UK show, this is a massive franchise around the world. I know that you've got Married at First Sight. Australia is a very big show as well that's broadcast here in the UK on the streaming platforms. Is there a potential that this actually impacts the entire Married at First Sight brand around the world?
I definitely think so, because it moves as one. Obviously, we're dealing with the UK, but worldwide, if a franchise has been tarnished, as I said, I think more stories are going to be coming out. You know, The Guardian was saying, like, there could be at least room for at least 1,000 exposés or 1,000 stories because it's a worldwide franchise. So definitely they're all going to have to come together and really be transparent on how their welfare has been for contestants, especially for the women on the show.
Steph, whilst we've got you, another huge entertainment story is the new Strictly hosts have been revealed. What do you make of this as a choice?
Well, it looks like 3 is the magic number. It's either magic or it's either magic or insanity. Look, we knew that Claudia and Tess were always going to be big shoes to fill, but I think there is a method to the madness. You've got Emma Willis, who is a household name, TV regular, and I think she will steer the Strictly show in the right way. Then we've got Johannes Radibi, who is a professional dancer, so I think he will bring the expertise. And Josh Widdicombe, I think he will bring a comedic value to the show. I think it's kind of a safe choice for them to do 3, because I think if they had 2, there would have been a lot of pressure for them to be living up to Claudia and Tess. So I think from what I've heard through all the extensive audition process, the chemistry between these 3 are great. And there's no joke of quietness that there's been about Strictly wanting to appeal to a younger audience. So maybe this is the formula that will actually work for them.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we, Steph? Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Always good to see you.
A right to reply here. All 3 men accused of wrongdoing on Married at First Sight deny the allegations. Channel 4 have said this. Channel 4 was asked to respond to claims of failures in welfare protocols. Channel 4 believes that when concerns related to contributor welfare were raised through existing welfare and production protocols, prompt and appropriate action were taken based on the information available at the time. Channel 4 strongly refutes any claim to the contrary.
Lawyers for CPL, which is the production company responsible for the show, told the BBC that its welfare system was gold standard and industry leading, and that it had acted appropriately in all of these cases. I think Stephanie's right. This is a worldwide brand, isn't it? As you mentioned, Married at First Sight Australia. Could more allegations come out? We've seen 3 allegations from the UK series. What else could
I have
come
a
next?
feeling, and also British news, as we know, travels very, very far, particularly in Australia. They're very obsessed with our news. I think this is it for them. If I want to make a prediction, I think the franchise is in big, big trouble. Big trouble.
OK. Let us know what you think. gbnews.com/you'll say.
All right, if you're travelling to work or school, let's get a traffic and travel update for you.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A75 remains closed between Brownrigg and Cuckoo Bridge roundabouts due to essential maintenance work, prompting drivers to adhere to signed diversion routes. On the A470, an incident near Corriton has led to the implementation of alternative routes to manage traffic flow. In Wiltshire, the A303 westbound has now cleared following an earlier accident, with normal driving conditions anticipated imminently. Meanwhile, in East Sussex, one lane of the A27 westbound remains closed because of an overturned vehicle causing some delays in the area. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, the victim of a horrific anti-Semitic attack in Golders Green has described his harrowing ordeal to GB News. We're going to be listening to that next.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, this chap made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
the late edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
Because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, late edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Now, a 22-year-old Jewish man who was brutally attacked by a group of hooded men in Golders Green has told GB News that he feared for his life. This is in an exclusive broadcast interview.
Yeah, the attack took place in the early hours of Monday morning, and the man, who agreed to speak to GB News anonymously, believes he was targeted because of his religion. Well, our national reporter Will Godley has more.
So we're here on this street in Golders Green because you were attacked here in the early hours of Monday morning. Talk me through what happened to you.
Around 2 in the morning, I just walked there. I see some group of 6 people with black hoodies and mask or something like that. I feel something suspicious, and when they see me, they're running to me. Like in few seconds, and they attack me, they kick me, and with the hands, with the legs, and they tell me some negative in Arabic and some in English, like or something like that.
Why do you think they chose to attack you?
I clearly think because my religious. That's it.
Do you think they heard you speaking in Hebrew?
Yeah. I say some write in Hebrew on the phone, and they say to me, because I don't talk with them, I just walk and they attack me. That's it. They listen to me. I think they know that it's a Jewish area.
And I can see you're visibly injured. You're cut and bruised on your face. Your nose looks very sore. You've shown me cuts to your body. Just how badly injured were you?
So much. Like, it's not just about that it's kicked me. It's feel like dark time in 1940 that happened, about like the Holocaust, that some people attack Jewish people. I thinking quickly, in a few seconds in my mind that maybe they're gonna kill me.
Really?
Yeah, really, because why not? It's happened here.
So you say this attack made you feel like you were in the 1940s as a Jewish person being attacked here, and it comes after a number of other anti-Semitic attacks in London. How do you feel being Jewish in London? Do you feel safe?
Probably no now, and something need to change for 1000%. Yeah, I think. And my message to Europe and to the security, to the government here, to the police, that need to wake up. They need to wake up. Something need to change.
All right, still to come, experts have predicted a sharp rise in energy bills for households this summer. Should the government do more to keep costs down? Well, we're going to go through that with Penny Smith and Oscar Redrop. That's next.
But first, here's your forecast across Europe.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries, all sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello. If you're heading off to Europe, well, high pressure is in charge, bringing plenty of warm sunshine around. Still a few showers, and it is cloudy across Madeira and the Canary Islands through Thursday. Lots of sunshine to be had across Spain, Portugal and France, across Italy and across Greece. That's where we'll see some showers bubbling up through the afternoon. Otherwise, temperatures into the mid to high 20s. That theme continues as we go through the week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday Five. You got me. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Nana Queer, weekends from 3 p.m.
Will not want to miss. Now, after escaping North Korea twice and surviving years of hardship, he's now campaigning for human rights and speaking out on global freedom issues here in Britain. And tonight he shares his journey, the political response to North Korea, and why he believes that the West must not stay silent. Well, I'm very pleased to say that I'm joined in the studio by Secretariat UK, all-party parliamentary group and human rights activist Timothy Cho.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. Well, even at the reception, I was asked how did I escape from North Korea. And yes, I've been in the UK for 18 years now, but I escaped when I was 17, twice escaped. And I was imprisoned 4 times, 3 times in China, 1 time in North Korea. And especially experiencing that North Korean imprisonment. And this will continue in my eyes, how men and women being tortured and killed, and which I also treated terribly, and which I live with those scars inside and outside today. And I remember visiting Auschwitz last year, and I was sitting on my bed 3 days and remembering and what I saw there, exactly what I saw in North Korean prison cell.
So why were you escaping, first of all? What was it that was making you escape? Why did you need to go? Why was it so bad?
My parents first escaped, whom both of them were high school teachers in North Korea. So they escaped when I was turning age into 9 and 10.
They left you there?
Well, they just they didn't have other alternative choice. If they didn't make that choice, I think whole family could have taken into a prison camp.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's an interesting news environment, isn't it?
It is a bit. We're in Purda.
Yeah, we're in Purda.
So we're following strict rules.
Very strict rules, so bear with us.
Yes.
There is some interesting front pages, isn't there, Ellie?
There certainly are. This is how they're stacking up today. The Telegraph reports on the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, urging supermarkets to put a cap on essential food items like eggs and bread.
Yes, the Times leads on this, the same story, with reports that prices could be frozen.
The Guardian leads on a warning from climate advisors that Britain must get used to being a hot country.
Oh, what a shame. And finally...
Well, I like the sound of that.
We're all so disappointed. Finally, The Sun reports that Married at First Sight has been axed. Stay tuned, because at 8:20 a.m. we're going to debate whether reality shows are just encouraging toxic behaviour.
Yeah, that's with Nadia Essex and Lizzie Cundy, so that should be a really good debate later on.
Yeah.
Those ladies will not hold back. And neither will these two, Penny Smith and Oscar Redrop. Morning, you two.
Morning.
Going through the papers with us this morning. Penny, let's talk about Rachel Reeves telling supermarkets to cap food prices.
Yes.
How's that going to go down?
Well, I mean, I just looked at this and I thought, unlike you three, I actually lived through the 70s and we seem to be going back there. I'll be getting my loom pants out. This is so essentially saying that what they call the basics, bread, eggs, milk, etc. She's saying, you know, they should be capped, and she's trying to have a conversation with them. The supermarkets just saying, what? The thing is, food costs what it costs, and this is sounding very much like the sort of thing that they used to do in Russia, for example, didn't they, when they had these food caps? Actually, quite a lot of those Eastern European places, and when it was the USSR, that's what they did. That was how they kind of managed to make things work. But to me, it just seems ridiculous. There will be things that you can go to the supermarket and you go, this one is cheap because we've got a glut of it at the moment. That's how prices work. It's the law of supply and demand. And if you're forcing them to say to keep it down, and in return you don't have to do net zero waste packaging, you don't have to bring in these obesity rules, you've got other things that they can ease off on. I just can't see the point.
Oscar, Venezuela's a probably more recent example. It didn't go very well for them. They ended up actually having shortages of this food because farmers and supermarkets actually said, well, if we're going to have a price cap, we just won't buy them because those actually ended up becoming unprofitable for them.
Yeah, and just look at the countries we're listing here. You know, Penny talking about, you know, the Soviet Union and you referencing Venezuela. I think in many ways that this is one of the most depressing front-page stories I've seen in this country since I've been alive. I think what it says to the rest of the world in terms of where the UK is at is utterly depressing. I think that the almost the cheek, if you like, of the government to turn around and start making these demands of supermarkets, where through, you know, NICS rises for employers, you know, all the kind of the bog-off deals, scrapping, the you know, kind of nanny statism in terms of like what people should be eating, and those often cheaper foods. And I know it's not ideal because often they're unhealthier, but making cheaper foods harder to buy for the consumer. Supermarkets would be well within their right to turn around to the government and say, absolutely not. You know, you've made life so much harder for us. I think, as Penny hinted at, though, there are things. Often, the government intervention in circumstances will make things harder and worse. The government should stay well out the way and just make as many products as cheap as possible that we have not done for years now. And I wouldn't make this a Labour thing. I'd go back to like even the sugar tax with George Osborne. You know, like we are so beyond that these days. We need to make things easy and cheap.
Well, it'll be interesting to get some reaction from supermarket bosses, which I'm sure we're going to get later on this morning. We will, of course, bring that to you on GB News Breakfast. In the meantime, Oscar, should we have a look at The Guardian and The Star this morning? This story about the UK must get used to being a hot country.
Yeah, landmark report in The Guardian. So we're looking at British homes now, not only needing air conditioning, but making recommendations, which I find slightly odd because I think people do this anyway. This didn't feel particularly kind of eye-catching to me. And also, if you read a bit deeper, is more air conditioning in things like hospitals and care homes and the like, but drawing curtains and opening windows and growing trees for shade, you know, and that might not quite be enough. And look, I mean, these are all things I think most people do anyway. And I'm not going to.
We certainly need to build more trees into any new development.
Agreed.
Because the problem is, every time I go past a new development, and there's these poor little spindly trees, just a little one here and a little one there, and the trouble is, some of them don't even survive to the next year because nobody who's watering them start off. And if we go through prolonged drought periods when these poor little spindly trees are trying to grow, you know, just don't cut them down in the first place and build round them, as it were.
But it isn't. At the end of the day, yes, it's not great that we're becoming a hotter country in terms for farmers, and you know that's not great for agriculture. But I think a lot of British people will look at this headline and go, "Thank goodness for that."
Well, there is always that. I have to say, like, I'm waiting for it now almost, and we're still like pretty grey, cold May. I have to say,
it's 20 degrees.
I know it's meant to be hotting up this weekend.
32 next week, everybody. Monday and Tuesday.
32.
Yep, it's time to switch out the winter wardrobes, switch your summer.
That does sound nice.
That's my public service now.
To make the boring political point, though, a report like this does come at an interesting time when, you know, we are just so backs against the wall. Things like net zero just doesn't work for people right now, I don't think. You know,
also, when we talk about hot country, it means that it's going to be drier and then with wet winters. So that's what we have to get used to as well.
I might be able to stop using as much fake tan, though, so that would be a bonus.
Would be a benefit. There's always a silver lining.
The Boots share price will take a hit.
Fake tan, no, obviously not. But Married at First Sight, massive international brand, right? It is very big, a very well-watched programme across the world. We've got Maths, it's called Maths, of course, abbreviated Married at First Sight UK. Maths Australia, which is also very big here. Oscar, but these serious allegations of rape during filming of certain seasons, which has now led to the whole show being pulled from streaming platforms here in the UK. Do you think it's over for the programme?
I think potentially. I mean, me and Penny were just talking about it before we came on. It's quite a unique a reality show in the sense that...
Can you just explain it for somebody who hasn't watched it before?
The thing is, I was saying to Oscar, what, they literally don't meet each other beforehand? They don't even... Because for some reason, I imagined there was a kind of meet and greet kind of thing, a party.
No, two complete strangers are thrown together. There's a bit of kind of filtering beforehand where, inverted commas, the experts... kind of, do some filtering and go, oh, you would suit this type of person. They're thrown together. They are, in inverted commas again, married, not legally, but there's a kind of marriage ceremony. And then they are shepherded off. They do a honeymoon together, and they live with each other for about 2 months or so. This experiment takes place, and they will cohabitate in that time. And where it is different to your things like Love Island and the like, and Big Brother, with the safety aspect, there are cameras and microphones on at all times on these shows. That is not the case with this show. So, the cameras go off, the microphones go off, and at that point there are ultimately two strangers cohabiting. And that feels incredibly messy. I feel like a huge hypocrite because I watch it and I enjoy it, as so many people do as a social experiment. But I think the show's done. I think it's done now.
It's very.
You can't watch it in the same light.
Well, it just seems so problematic, and you see the mental impact it has on these people when you're watching the show, and you just think the fallout from that afterwards, the welfare of those individuals. Is it really worth it? I think it'll be one of those times afterwards, Penny, that we look back and go, how on earth did we?
How on earth? Do you see? I think that. I think. As I said, as soon as Oscar was explaining it to me, I was just thinking, this just has red flags
Well, I used to
all
watch
over it.
Blind Date with my grandma.
Blind Date.
And that feels like the most naive, kind of innocent... No, but and like really good fun. And you should look at where we've come from a show like that to some quite heavy social experimenting.
Certainly is. We should just say that all three men deny any wrongdoing.
They do indeed.
And there is an investigation underway.
All right, time now for a Great British giveaway. It's your chance to have a spectacular summer, especially if it's heating up as well. I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it? £76,543.21 in tax-free cash.
What is it?
It's a countdown to summer.
Very good. Here are all the details that you need.
We're counting down to a spectacular summer. It's your chance to win £76,543 and 21p in totally tax-free cash. A lump sum that you could have in time to splash out with this summer. Imagine all the things you could do with that cash. Give the garden a glow up, max out on a new motor, or just make sure the coming year is your year. And because it's tax-free, you get to keep every single penny for a chance to win £76,543 and 21p in tax-free cash. Text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Okie dokie. Yes, still to come. Yes.
Yeah, the latest inflation figures are out in just a matter of minutes, so we're going to have that breaking news for you just after 7 o'clock.
But first, it's your weather with Catherine Chalk.
And hopefully the good weather is coming. Fingers crossed.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. After a showery day yesterday, it is going to be drier out there today with sunny spells. Still a few showers around, and it is going to be feeling warmer before those temperatures do start to rise later on in the week. So a lot of cloud around first thing this morning, some hill fog in places, but the cloud will tend to lift and break up. We'll see some glimmers of sunshine, a few showers around, especially across the central parts of England. The focus for the showers, though, through today is going to be across Scotland. Some of those merging into longer spells of rain to the far north into Orkney. Still quite breezy out there, but temperatures rising 18 to 21 degrees in the best of any sunny spells. As we head through this evening then, we see that band of showery rain across Orkney and Shetland gradually push its way northwards. Showers persisting across much of northern parts of Scotland. To the south, some late evening sunshine. Cloudy across Northern Ireland, and that persisting into northern England, into much of Wales and the southwest of England. But most of the showers will start easing and fading away as we go through the evening and into the night. So across the south, generally holding on to dry conditions overnight, but out towards the west, cloud and further spells of rain moving into Northern Ireland, into Wales, northern England, and eventually ending into southern parts of Scotland. With the cloud or rain around, temperatures will be holding up, so it's going to be another mild start to Thursday morning, only lows around 9 to 12 degrees. So a damp picture first thing on Thursday morning across northern parts of England and into Scotland, with outbreaks of rain here. Showery outbreaks of rain possible across Wales as well. Best of the sunshine through Thursday afternoon is going to be across the south of England, and here temperatures rising nicely in the sunshine, highs of up to 24 degrees. Bye-bye.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go, or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A95 is closed between B9008 Tomintoul and B9138 Knockando due to maintenance. Drivers are advised to follow the signed diversion or wait for the next amnesty period. On the A470 in Corriton, an incident causes diversions in both directions around the roundabout. In Wiltshire, all lanes are closed westbound on the A303 after a vehicle crossed the central reservation. Normal traffic is expected by 9:45 this morning. East Sussex has one lane closed westbound on the A27 after a vehicle overturned. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We're counting down to a spectacular summer. It's your chance to win £76,543 and 21 pence in totally tax-free cash. A lump sum that you could have in time to splash out with this summer. And because it's tax-free, you get to keep every single penny. For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Crucial inflation figures are going to be released any moment.
That's right. The Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, is awaiting that key indication of how the economy is working, and all on the same day that she's putting unprecedented pressure on supermarkets to freeze prices.
Well, in response, some retailers are accusing the government of demonising them, with some labelling the move as desperate and turning the blame back on the government's tax raids and minimum wage rises.
That's right, with oil prices reaching their highest point since the Iran war started and warnings food inflation could peak at 10% this year. Is it time for the government to take more radical action to keep costs down?
Well, one measure introduced by the Treasury is to allow the flow of Russian oil into the UK in a massive U-turn that's telling of the economic pressures facing this government.
And the Prime Minister is handed a blueprint for introducing digital ID without sparking a public backlash. Wonder how that's going to go.
The victim of a horrific anti-Semitic attack in Golders Green this week has described his harrowing ordeal to GB News.
It feels like dark time in 1940 that happened there. Do you know about like the Holocaust, that some people attack Jewish people?
Celebration with a royal twist. Different communities from across Northern Ireland coming together for a special preview of this summer's flower.
The King and Queen's first day in Northern Ireland went off without a hitch despite the rain.
I'm looking for that deep connection.
Someone who's kind,
generous.
Channel 4's Married at First Sight UK is pulled from all streaming platforms over sexual assault claims. We're going to be debating if reality shows encourage toxic behaviour.
And sport this morning, well, Arsenal crowned Premier League champions for the first time in 22 years. Spurs, meanwhile, lose to Chelsea, which means that their relegation fight goes right down to the wire. And Southampton are expelled from Saturday's richest match in football, the Championship playoff final.
Temperatures are on the rise, but there's still a few showers in the mix. I'll have all of the details coming up shortly.
Good morning, it's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast. Well, Paul. What a day. How are you feeling? Did you wake up with a headache? Did you sleep at all last night?
It was okay. It was pretty much a double whammy for Spurs fans, and for Arsenal fans, it was a great day. So Spurs lost to Chelsea, which puts the relegation
Which, might I say, I did
fight.
predict yesterday, did I not?
But you know what? So did I, to be fair.
Yeah, you did.
And but Arsenal have won the title. See, they won it without kicking a ball. They just had to watch Manchester City draw at Bournemouth, which, by the way, I also predicted the fact that they wouldn't win at Bournemouth. So they're the new champions. 22 years it's been waiting for. So people have been predicting it for a lot of people say expecting it was going to happen at some point. But Arsenal, lots of celebrations around the Emirates, as you can imagine. I didn't make it there last night.
No, I'm surprised.
I was just busy.
Couldn't be there. Couldn't be there. Wouldn't want to get
But
lynched.
listen, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to be gracious. Congratulations.
There you go.
Yes, very good, very good. And Spygate, Southampton, also a massive story we're going to get into in the sports.
This is crazy.
Crazy story.
We'll do this shortly, and what seemed like a bit of a laugh at first has now turned, well, quite sinister, because Southampton have been kicked out of those playoff finals, which is supposed to be on Saturday. Well, it is on Saturday at Wembley, where they were through after beating Middlesbrough, but now it's been reversed because they were spying on Middlesbrough's training, which is not all against the law, against the rules, and now they've been kicked out, and the repercussions are just huge. The amount of money that they will lose, the fans, how they feel about it. But we'll go into detail a bit later.
We'll get the details shortly.
OK, thanks, Quitty. See you soon.
All right, we've got some breaking news for you this morning. The UK's latest inflation rate has just been announced, and it has fallen unexpectedly to 2.8% in the year to April.
Yeah, it's fallen from 3.3% in March. This is from the Office for National Statistics. It was thought that it would ease slightly as a drop in household energy bills offset a jump in fuel prices. But experts are warning of turbulence ahead, I'm afraid, as the Iran energy price shock catches up, they say, with the cost of living. But just to repeat that breaking news in the past few moments, the latest UK inflation rate has been announced, unexpectedly fallen to 2.8% in the year to April.
Yes, OK. Well, joining us now to talk about all things, economy, I guess, really. Politics and economics reporter for City AM, Marcusio Alencar, joining us this morning. Thank you very much for talking to us about this breaking news, of course. We've got inflation falling in Britain, which I think will come as a surprise to many of our viewers, particularly as the economy has been wavering. We saw unemployment rise the other day, wage growth also not quite doing so well. What's attributing this fall in inflation?
Yeah, so inflation fell there slightly from the last month. It's actually quite simple to understand why. Obviously, in April, we had the Ofgem energy price cap actually fall itself by about £170, and that was because of budget policies introduced by the Chancellor Rachel Reeves, meant basically moving some net zero subsidies away from energy bills and onto general taxation. Prescription also for, that's all sort of keeping price pressures a bit lower. We'll have to go through the data and look at which other measures are also sort of holding inflation back. But I think in the months ahead, we can see inflation sort of spike quite largely due to disruption that we've seen across the Middle East.
Is that the Iran war just catching up with the cost of living? Does it take a while to kind of seep through?
Yeah, so for instance, energy prices are sort of capped, and every 3 months they sort of get reset. So we'll see that real big impact on families and households from July.
And of course, we've got the Iran war raging on, which is going to be a huge driver over the next few quarters, particularly as world's oil supply begins to dry up from the Strait of Hormuz being blockaded by the United States and that ongoing war with Iran. Do we expect to see a dramatic rise in inflation? Of course, the other big economic story today is that we've got the Chancellor out talking about freezing, asking supermarkets to freeze their costs of basic foods. Is that an indicator that that the government may be bracing themselves for worse figures later on in the year?
Absolutely. The government is clearly very worried about anything that consumers and I guess voters perceive as a huge increase in their bills, and the blame is laid at their door. This push from being reported first by the Financial Times and followed up is sort of weird in many ways. You saw the S&P in Scotland actually doing a sort of an obligatory price cap for supermarkets. Here it seems to be slightly different, where there are a few regulations that are being introduced or have been introduced on supermarkets recently, and the government's basically telling them, we'll pull that regulation if you cap the price of items such as eggs, bread, the kinds of things that get bought a lot by households. So it's a sort of negotiation, I suppose, taking place. Some supermarkets are furious about it, and so are some economists who said the UK has sort of given up on growth, it seems.
Can I also ask you about this big story out today that the UK government has loosened strict sanctions on Russian oil refined into diesel and jet fuel in third countries. This, of course, as prices have been rising steeply in recent weeks. Clearly, this is a huge U-turn, isn't it? And must reflect the growing supply concerns.
Absolutely. I think sanctions have had sort of mixed effects, I suppose, with the war in Russia, and I guess the government is trying to sort of respond as quickly as possible to any sort of supply chain issues. I suppose sanctions is an issue around that, and where they sort of take oil from countries such as India, which might have been imported from Russia. So obviously there's lots of measures and things taking place in Whitehall, a lot of which we'll only find out in the next few weeks, next few months, and the effects of which could take months, perhaps a year, to really come into the UK economy.
And I guess this, there's not really much the free market can do about this. This is global winds affecting Britain here. But is there anything that the government can do rather than trying to ask supermarkets, for example, to freeze prices? Is there anything the government can do to ease that pressure on the everyday person?
Well, I think at the budget we saw last year, and that's why inflation is down today. There are a few sort of measures that might have some effect on price growth. But I guess the long-term sort of plan really always has to be on the supply side, as economists say. That means, building more houses, just adding to supply, which is good for growth, makes people richer, and because price pressures are going down while growth continues there. So there's on energy, on planning, on housing, on a lot of these issues, it always comes down, I guess, from an economist perspective, to sort of get as much supply in there so that people have choices and the price pressures are sort of contained.
Richo, we're almost out of time with you, so just very briefly, just wanted your thoughts on, we're expecting the Chancellor to cancel the planned fuel duty rise, which was meant to take place in September. This is to help with the cost of living. How much difference will that make at the pump if that happens today and if that is announced today? And there will be concern about taxes being, risen elsewhere to pay for all of this.
Yeah, we're expecting, I think, a speech from the Chancellor on Thursday with some sort of energy support package measures, and this sort of planned hike in fuel duty from September could be delayed or scrapped. I think, obviously, we saw petrol prices, I think, hit the highest point since the Iran war started. This will help to sort of contain that measure. But effectively, you're just tweaking a small tax, sort of confusing economists and opposition groups with, some nice number tinkering, where actually it's not really a sort of fundamental tax change on petrol or on energy. And I think it will raise some eyebrows among some of the economists that I speak to each day.
OK, thank you very much for your thoughts on this economics news this morning. And, of course, many people at home will be worried.
Of course they will be.
Seriously worried.
It's headline after headline, isn't it?
And it's not... And, look, whilst the government might celebrate there's a bit of good news today, the overall trend, if you look at every graph of inflation over the last 4 or 5 years, the thing, when inflation falls, it doesn't mean that your costs are coming down. This is prices have fallen, yes, a little bit. The rate of prices have fallen, but it's the rate of growth of those prices, right? So it's not like the costs are coming down. We haven't got deflation. We're still inflating. So it's
just
not
at
like
a slower rate
just at for now, a slightly slower rate. So this isn't, inflation is not ever good news when we've had such massive spikes the last few years. So again, people should be worried by this data.
OK, let us know what you think. gbnews.com/you'll say. In the meantime, 12 minutes past 7. Should we take a look at some other stories coming to the newsroom this morning?
Let's have a look. Vladimir Putin has been welcomed in Beijing today. During a meeting between the superpowers, the Russian president told the Chinese president, Xi Jinping, that the relationship between the two countries has reached an unprecedentedly high level. Well, Xi has called his counterpart an old friend and has described their ties as unyielding. The two leaders are expected to sign documents later today before they both give statements to the media.
James Roscoe, the deputy to Britain's ambassador in Washington, has abruptly left his post. Foreign Office officials declined to give any explanation as to why. He played a key role in President Donald Trump's state visit to the UK and in King Charles's recent visit to the US.
Young drivers are being targeted by ghost brokers selling fake car insurance online. The finance watchdog has indeed warned. The Financial Conduct Authority has warned that half of drivers aged 16 to 25 have bought policies through social media or messaging apps, many of which are scams.
Now let's get a check on the weather with Catherine Chalk.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. After a showery day yesterday, it is going to be drier out there today with sunny spells. Still a few showers around, and it is going to be feeling warmer before those temperatures do start to rise later on in the week. So a lot of cloud around first thing this morning, some hill fog in places, but the cloud will tend to lift and break up. We'll see some glimmers of sunshine, a few showers around, especially across the central parts of England. The focus for the showers, though, through today is going to be across Scotland. some of those merging into longer spells of rain to the far north into Orkney. Still quite breezy out there, but temperatures rising 18 to 21 degrees in the best of any sunny spells. As we head through this evening then, we see that band of showery rain across Orkney and Shetland gradually push its way northwards. Showers persisting across much of northern parts of Scotland. To the south, some late evening sunshine. Cloudy across Northern Ireland, and that persisting into northern England, into much of Wales and the southwest of England. But most of the showers will start easing and fading away as we go through the evening and into the night. So across the south, generally holding on to dry conditions overnight, but out towards the west, cloud and further spells of rain moving into Northern Ireland, into Wales, Northern England, and eventually ending into southern parts of Scotland. With the cloud or rain around, temperatures will be holding up, so it's going to be another mild start to Thursday morning, only lows around 9 to 12 degrees. So a damp picture first thing on Thursday morning across northern parts of England and into Scotland, with outbreaks of rain here. Showery outbreaks of rain possible across Wales as well. Best of the sunshine through Thursday afternoon is going to be across the south of England, and here temperatures rising nicely in the sunshine, highs of up to 24 degrees. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, do stay with us, still to come.
The King and Queen made a surprise visit.
A celebration with a royal twist. Different communities from across Northern Ireland coming together for a special preview of this summer's flower.
You're very excited about this, aren't you, Alex?
I'm very excited about this. Yes, the King and Queen have indeed made a surprise visit to Northern Ireland. Cameron Walker has all the details next.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Brave. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline.
Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
We can allow.
Stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel. Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Well, I was very excited about this.
You are very excited about this.
Yes. King and Queen have started their 3-day visit to Northern Ireland. They began their trip with a celebration of traditional music and culture.
Our royal correspondent Cameron Walker is there for us.
Well, it may be a wet and windy day here in Belfast, but the King and Queen were treated to a warm reception of Irish music. And if that didn't warm them up, the whiskey in the distillery certainly did. A celebration with a royal twist. Different communities from across Northern Ireland coming together for a special preview of this summer's Fleadh. Here's one of the organisers, Niall McLean.
Well, the Fleadh in Belfast for us from the very start has been a Fleadh for everybody, and that's really been our stamp from the start. We want everybody involved, all communities involved, and I think what you've seen today, when you bring the bands for them and you bring different traditional forms of dance, Polish dance, Irish dance, and then the young musicians, traditional musicians, and you bring them all together and they perform together, that's what the Fleadh's all about for us.
The Fleadh is Ireland's biggest festival of traditional music, dance and culture, and it's the first time Belfast has ever hosted. Even their Majesties joined in on bodhran drums, even if not in perfect time. Despite this, the Irish dancers seemed happy.
It was a fun experience to have, and it's great to have them here in Belfast.
Yeah, it was a brilliant opportunity. I think we had a lot of nerves at the start, but it was brilliant to showcase our festival Irish dancing. To have such brilliant music as well was really exciting.
Inside, the King and Queen sampled whiskey from the relatively new Titanic distillers, the first in Belfast for nearly 90 years. They were guided by co-founder Peter Lever.
He shook plenty of hands and it was unbelievable. He fairly engaged and he liked whiskey, which is more important. The Queen and himself had some taste of whiskey and they really enjoyed it.
Is that my letter? Ah, this is what I wrote.
The Queen then fulfilled a promise, visiting Fane Street Primary School, where pupils had specially invited her. She toured a sensory room, where Bubbles and a therapy dog kept the diverse pupils entertained. Their Majesties also held audiences with the First Minister and Deputy First Minister of Northern Ireland, Michelle O'Neill and Emma Little-Pengelly, a reminder of power sharing in the country. Today, King Charles and Queen Camilla are expected to continue their tour of the nation. Cameron Walker, GB News in Belfast.
Oh, looks like a fantastic trip, doesn't it?
It does.
And much more to come from Cameron Walker, who has the best job in the game, I think.
He really does. I mean, he's in Italy a couple of weeks ago.
Having pasta with the Princess of Wales last week.
Wales. Where was he before that? He was with the King in the States.
In the US.
Yeah, in the States.
Now he's playing music with the Queen in Northern Ireland. Have a lovely time.
Yeah. Where will they go next, I wonder? But we do know what's coming up next here on the show, because Paul Coit is here with all the latest sports news.
Sometimes, well, most of the time this job's fun. Sometimes it can be difficult, sometimes easy. Guess what sort of way I'm feeling about it today?
It's tough today.
Arsenal won the Premier League last night without kicking a ball. I will discuss in just a second.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M8 eastbound at Hermiston Gate experiences restriction due to a broken-down vehicle. Meanwhile, in Greater London, the M4 westbound between junctions 2 and 3 has one of 3 lanes closed, with normal traffic conditions anticipated to resume between 7:30 and 7:45 a.m. In Wiltshire, the entire westbound A303 is closed following a significant collision. East Sussex sees one lane of the A27 westbound shut due to an overturned vehicle. Additionally, train services between Birmingham New Street and Stafford are experiencing disruptions. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
All right, it's time to go through all the sport, and I can just feel the animosity in the room. Can you feel it at home?
It depends who you support. Look, Arsenal fans, we should say, have had a lovely night, haven't they? They'll be waking up with very sore heads.
Sore hands. Because all the applauding.
All the clapping.
Sore heads this morning. Although we have just had a view in from Aaron.
Yeah.
Says, hi, Paul. I'm a Spurs fan too.
Hi, Aaron.
Devastating night last night.
Yeah.
Now I know how Sir Keir Starmer feels every day.
Well, the irony is Sir Keir Starmer is actually an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, he actually
Well, they've had a great night.
He's actually tweeted about Arsenal recently.
Has he?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Sure he has.
Yeah. He's got to celebrate some victories here and there, hasn't he?
Well, look, Arsenal are now the champions, the Premier League champions for 2026, and I think what year it was, 22 years since the last time they won it. They didn't have to kick a ball either yesterday. I mean, these are the celebrations. And this is any joy I'm happy with, you know, as long as it doesn't get out of hand and it looks like there is joy going on outside the Emirates. Everybody just headed out there after the result came in from Bournemouth because Manchester City needed to beat Bournemouth yesterday to keep the Premier League race alive, and they didn't. It was 1-1. They scored in the 95th minute, went again. It was just run out of time, and they didn't manage it. So that means that Arsenal are champions. They'll now go to Crystal Palace. They don't have to worry. They can do whatever they want. They can have a lovely time. I think it would be, for Arsenal, it would be great if they had their last home game. Being the last game of the season, because then they can lift the trophy in front of their own fans. Yeah. But they will be given the trophy. And there we are. Look at the thousands of people outside the Emirates.
What does this mean for the rest of the Premier League? What is it shaping up to look like now, Paul?
What do you mean?
Well, what's the rest of the running order? But there's a team that might.
What do you mean? What are you saying?
I'm just trying to.
What are you getting at?
I'd like to apologise. I felt myself getting a bit tetchy then. I did. I felt myself getting a bit funny. All the shapes up is that at the bottom, it's looking a little worrying because it's Spurs and West Ham. Oscar's going to be with you in just a second. I can feel his eyes glaring at me as we're talking about it. So the way we're looking at the bottom, this all goes down to Sunday. So this is what everybody's going to be watching.
Oh, no.
Is Spurs, who are at home to Everton, and then West Ham are at home to Leeds. Now, West Ham are 2 points behind Spurs at the moment, which obviously means should Spurs lose and West Ham win, then West Ham stay in the Premier League and Tottenham go down. But if Spurs get a draw, because of the goal difference, it doesn't matter what happens at the London Stadium, Spurs will stay up. It's the tension. I mean, it hasn't happened, as far as Spurs are concerned, in living memory where they've gone to the final game of the season needing to win to stay up.
But can I say this is the most Spurs thing ever, to take it right down to the wire. They don't make it easy for themselves, ever.
What the atmosphere is going to be like. Can you see this? But I tell you how I feel. What the atmosphere is going to be like, because everybody is going to be... I mean, I'm the one that's going to be trying to get everybody going, and we've all got to cheer the team and get positive, but there's this incredible nervousness. And for those that don't understand what sport means, and there are some people that think... I mean, I had a friend and he would say, well, isn't it just like supporting two companies? And you go, no, because it's very tribal and you're brought up with... You know what it's like, and Ellie, you know what it's like as well. And so it affects you more than even you thought it would. So even from 3 o'clock this morning when I wake up, the first thing I think, I've got a horrible feeling in my stomach. What is it? And that's what it is. So and this is how it affects people, and it's the same as Arsenal. There will be no unbridled joy like Arsenal fans celebrating the fact that they've won the Premier League.
Biggest Arsenal fan going, clearly. The Prime Minister, what was he tweeting there, Paul?
Go on, what's he saying?
22 long years for the Arsenal, but finally we're back where we belong.
Did he write that himself, do you think, or was that written for him?
Sounds like it.
Carefully checked?
I think if he was going to write any posts lately, that might be the one he did write.
OK. Well, look, Pep Guardiola, it'd be interesting to hear what he has to say. So, Manchester City manager, we were talking yesterday, he's going to leave at the end of the season. So he looked very despondent because he would have loved to have won the Premier League double with the... Well, it would have been the treble with the FA Cup and the League Cup, but no Premier League for him. This is what he had to say after the game.
Congratulate Arsenal, Mikel, staff, backroom staff, fans for this Premier League, well deserved. At the same time, for my manager career, one of the years that we fought the more with the incredible things that we could not control, and we were there, never give up. I would have loved to have in the last moment, you know, to try. Of course, it wasn't in our hands, but yeah, today the fatigue was there.
It always throws me when you see the adverts behind moving. It looks like he's on a travelator as he's doing it. Yeah. But anyway, so that's it. Man City pretty much done for the season. But FA Cup and League Cup, is that Carabao Cup? Oh, that would be a fantastic season for most. Yeah. Fantastic season.
Big story, though.
Right.
Southampton.
This is huge. I mean, it really is.
Spygate.
Yeah.
It really has. It's really turned into something just unprecedented in football. They're expelled. So Southampton have been expelled now from the Championship playoff, which is supposed to happen on Saturday where they play Hull. So it's costing the club... They always call this game the richest game in football, because if you go up to the Premier League, the money that you will make. So we're talking probably about £200 million. Now, you can argue the fact that because it is so important, this is why they end up sending a spy over to Middlesbrough to watch them train. But it's against the rules. Look at that picture. Now, this is a young fella called William Salt. He's an intern analyst. So he's obviously been sent by Southampton to go up to Middlesbrough's training ground to film and even stream it back to Southampton.
He could have been slightly more discreet now, couldn't he?
What do you think?
Mission Impossible, is it?
No, that's him on the right, dressed as a tree, by the way. That's not him. That's just a passerby.
But I guess the question is, if you're going to send someone to do this, how did they know who it was, first of all? How did the club pick up that this is an intern in another club?
Well, there were people from Middlesbrough media, because they will be around anyway. And it was spotted. You see someone, what is that person doing? Yeah. Now, most training grounds these days, back in the day, training grounds, anybody could go and you could go and see whatever you want. Whereas most training grounds now of big clubs are behind closed doors. You can't get in. They've gone along. So he stood next to this tree. I mean, there's people that were joking, because Southampton fans, it was all a bit of a joke at first. You know what? Oh, we've been done for spying, but we're going to the EFL, whatever. We're going to the final and we're all doing that. But they won't be doing that anymore, because the sanction is they've been thrown out. So Middlesbrough have now been reinstated, and they will play in that final on Saturday. And I've never seen anything like this. They've also been charged with 2 other games, and this is the ones they know about. Oxford in December, which they actually lost 2-0. Ipswich they played in April, which went 2-2. So they've admitted to it because they probably thought, OK, we'll come clean, admit it, maybe we'll get a fine, maybe a points deduction next year or something at worst. But now they've been thrown out, and they are appealing today, because they have to do it now because the final's on Saturday. 35,000 tickets going to each club. So it's a complete mess, and this is going to hang over Southampton for as long as you could possibly think. And it's awful mainly for those fans that have watched really good football, and what a waste. Was it really, really worth doing this? And I think the answer is, of course it wasn't. Because they've blown an entire season by doing something really stupid.
Not good for Southampton, but also maybe this is the warning the clubs need not to participate in this kind of behaviour.
Could be. Yeah, could be. I think we know better.
Yeah, we're going to treat you guys really harsh to stop anyone else doing it.
Or dress as a tree, or hire a professional spy.
You know, do it properly if you can. Use a drone.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that won't be spotted, will it? Yeah.
Won't be
Disguise the drone as a seagull.
Oh, OK, fine.
There you go.
Thanks, Quoty.
All right.
Simon Green has just been in touch saying, where is the Daily Reflection today?
Yes. Well, should we get one?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Just for you, Simon.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Welcome to the Anglican parish of St Andrews, Wimbledon, where I serve as vicar. It's easy to have an airbrushed view of history from the safe distance of many years past. I wonder, as we look back on the events of the first Easter, we can think it's all obvious and inevitable. Jesus had to die and then rise. That's what Christians believe. But if you think about what it must have been like for his first disciples, how scary and bewildering was the whole thing. They'd left everything to follow this man for 3 years, and they'd seen him do amazing things, but he kept saying he had come to die, until he said, the hour has come, and I must go. Maybe sensing their confusion and their fear, Jesus said in John chapter 16, I have much more to say to you, more than you can now bear. But when he, the Spirit of truth, comes, he will guide you into all the truth. He will not speak on his own, he will speak only what he hears, and he will tell you what is yet to come. He will glorify me, because it is from me that he will make known all this to you. Jesus is saying as he goes, he won't leave them in the dark, but he will continue to guide and speak and teach them by his Holy Spirit. A unique promise to these first disciples, but as they write it down in what we have as this New Testament, he continues to speak in ways that everyone can hear and understand. That's why Christians believe this book is not just a collection of historical texts, but it is the personal word of Jesus, continuing to lead and guide his followers today. What a great comfort and help that is.
A Christian message to give us comfort and hope this morning. We definitely do, don't we?
We definitely do. All right, still to come. The Only Way is Essex superstar Gemma Collins has revealed her latest collaboration.
You are not going to believe who it's with.
It's mental.
Yeah, our minds have been blown. How much does that cost us? We're going to be getting into all of this with Penny Smith and Oscar Reddrop. They're here going through the papers with us next.
But first, here's the forecast for our top European destinations.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello. If you're heading off to Europe, well, high pressure is in charge, bringing plenty of warm sunshine around. Still a few showers, and it is cloudy across Madeira and the Canary Islands through Thursday. Lots of sunshine to be had across Spain, Portugal and France, across Italy and across Greece. That's where we'll see some showers bubbling up through the afternoon. Otherwise, temperatures into the mid to high 20s. That theme continues as we go through the week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Martin Daubney.
Weekdays from 3 p.m.
Colin, it's always an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And of course, you're wearing your full Chelsea pensioner regalia. It's a resplendent sight. Colin Thackeray, 2/3 of young people don't even know what VE Day is. You know what it is. You lived through it. Tell us, tell the nation how important it is and your memories of that beautiful day.
Well, extremely important to remember and to continue to remember. It means obviously victory in Europe, and it was a great day because everybody was happy, and you know we all lived through 5 years of war, and it was a smashing time. And I'd rather hope that people will continue to do so.
Do you think the problem now, Colin, is we've got a younger generation who are taught badly? And they're taught often to be ashamed of British history. We talk about slavery, the evils of empire. Yet we don't celebrate the genuine heroism of VE Day and people like yourself.
Yeah, it's a shame. You know, 2 years ago, we were in Korea. We went across for a revisit. And I hadn't seen the place for 70 years. And it was extraordinary. The place was, the school was built up. And the people were marvellous. And every child knows exactly when the war was there, what we were there for. And we were told, I was told by a 9-year-old, it never occurred to me, that look, if you didn't come, we would be living the same as North Korea. That's a shame, isn't it?
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Right, well, we've got all of your papers here with Penny and Oscar. We wanted to start on this, though, because this caught...
Because this isn't in the papers, but this has caught our eye.
No, it's not in the papers, but Ellie saw this and showed it to me.
And we couldn't quite believe our eyes.
Should we just play it?
I think we should.
Yeah, play it. Play the clip.
You better make sure, honeys, that whatever you're going to be learning, you concentrate because you're going to be taking it into your future career. And one day... kids, this could be you. I hope this will help people to be ambitious. I didn't even get a grade in maths because I found it so panicky and so stressful. Part of that was not believing in myself. All that pie over sky or wherever it is, you probably know.
It's The Only Way is Essex star Gemma Collins collaborating with the Department of Education and the Secretary for Education, Bridget Phillipson, for a social media video. There's a series of these videos on the Department of Education website. You should have a look at them.
I have so many questions. Yeah. I have so many questions.
Tell me your questions.
No answers. Yeah, well, that's the problem. Like, why Gemma Collins?
Yes, why Gemma Collins?
And she hasn't got children. I don't think she walks around saying, you know, I've got the highest education in the country. She's not like someone you go, right, this is the sort of person you want to push education, like smart, you know, all this stuff. Not that saying she's not clever. She's obviously done exceptionally well for herself.
Yeah.
Why are we paying for this? It's a government-sponsored influencer thing.
There's two approaches to this. So first of all, I'm not some like culture snob. I love Towie.
Totally.
I love all that stuff. Like, if you're watching, you know, I'd love a little. I'd love to make a guest appearance one day. I actually quite like the V levels that she's promoting, where you can you do your normal qualifications, you know, education. You also learn about finances, but on the issue itself of getting Gemma Collins and ultimately taxpayers, I imagine paying Gemma Collins to sell education, do these promotional videos that the government can cosy up next to, is, if I wanted to be boring and serious about it, is actually a bit of a disgrace. It's embarrassing. You know, like, and you see all the story, and I know it seems unimportant, and relative terms, when you look at the front pages, it is unimportant. But, like, is this the standard we're at now as a country? Is this where we're actually at?
It drives people mad.
And I get it,
It's another gimmick.
It's another gimmick.
People want to see real policy that actually brings about change in our schools, which is so desperately needed. And instead we get
Yeah,
These
Bridget
fluffy social
Phillipson,
media
our
videos.
education secretary, exactly, Ellie, exactly, is sat round at taxpayers-funded, expense with, Gemma Collins, who with the best will in the world is a kind of an anti-education almost celebrity, and and actually, you know what? She's really smart business-wise, super smart, canny business-wise, and she's really good fun. But so it's not about Gemma Collins. It's not her fault at all. But it's just what it says to us as a nation. Like, we've dropped so far. And sorry, I'm getting a bit almost borderline emotional, but like it is symptomatic of so many problems.
I've put this over to you, Penny, because you're right. It's not Gemma Collins' fault. She's taking a gig. She's being offered. Totally understand.
Yeah.
I would do if I was Gemma Collins as well. It is actually a sign of the political class inside places like the Department of Education that decided this is a good idea.
I'm getting a good education today. I had to ask Oscar about Married at First Sight. I had to ask him about Gemma Collins and The Only Way is Essex. And it's all about these, and I agree with you, these vocational levels, these new V levels, do sound like, excuse me, they do sound like a really good idea.
I didn't pull that out from the interview, did you?
No, exactly.
I didn't get that.
We
that
were
was a
struggling
vocational
to find
thing.
out,
What was
weren't
the
we?
point of it all?
This cheapening and dumbing down. Anyway, sorry, Penny.
Sorry, I was just going to say the vocational is to, if you don't want to go down the academic route of A levels, if you don't want to go down T levels, technical and occupation, which is sort of industry placement, etc., etc. And if you're trying to find your vocation, I know loads of kids who are doing their GCSEs and who are confused about where they go from here, and maybe V levels is the way to find out. It's a kind of way of kind of dipping your toe in the waters. Let's try and look. I was just trying to look at the other side. I was thinking, OK, there they are in the Department of Education. They're having that blue sky thinking moment. We know that that's what's been happening. I'm wondering if it's because she has such a high profile online, which is where most young people...
Well, we're talking about it, right?
We are. And we would not, if it was not Gemma Collins, if it was somebody that we thought was a bit more appropriate, would we even be mentioning it? Would it get out there? And she has a huge, huge profile on social media.
I guess the question I'd ask, and I think you're absolutely right, we are talking about it, it's very good PR. I'm a bit of a cynic when it comes to politicians. I don't know if you've gathered that over watching me over the years. But I feel like there's lots going on in the political national world in terms of what's happening in the Labour Party. And it feels to me whenever they start to bring celebrities around, it's like, oh, is there a leadership contest coming up sometime soon? Perhaps maybe I want to throw my hat in the ring. This sort of stuff to actually build the profile of the politician. Now, if Gemma Collins had gone and interviewed, and the Department of Education had paid for Gemma Collins to interview a bunch of kids who've become plumbers, leckies, that would be really good, because actually you use Gemma Collins as the celebrity. What it's done is Gemma Collins has interviewed Bridget Phillipson and bigged up how great Bridget Phillipson is, sat in her office, and how, if you stick... What I took from that video, that one video there, was if you stick to her education, you can sit in an office like Bridget Phillipson that overlooks Parliament Square. And I just thought that's the opposite of the vocational message, right?
And I don't want to pay for that. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to pay for that kind of soft promotion PR. And again, I'm sorry, this country has produced so many, and it's not a snobbish thing, we've produced so many inspirational working class kind of intellects and thinkers and creatives and business people. I mean, just like the list is kind of endless. And if that's what we're projecting, I find it really, really depressing. And I say that basically as a borderline, almost Gemma Collins fan. So it's nothing to do with her.
We've just had a view in from JD saying, why are they using a reality person? We're hearing about these stories about Married at First Sight today. We know that children are being negatively impacted by these programmes and by social media. We're constantly hearing children struggling. Why would you use someone from the reality TV sector? It's absolutely contradictory.
Perfectly put. Perfectly put.
Well, is there a fair argument to make here, Penny, that going back to what you were saying about the reason why you would bring someone like Gemma Collins in is because, of course, we're all talking about it now, but also
but not in a positive way, are we?
Well, that's true, but at least we are talking about it, and I think maybe the government would argue that actually Gemma Collins represents a lot of working class people up and down the country, and that actually the message is received regardless.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they were thinking. And I think they needed to get out about the V levels. We wouldn't be talking about V levels otherwise, and particularly if it was somebody that we thought was inspirational, but which kids who are,
Go on, Penny, who would you...
Well, I'm just saying kids who are 14 and 15.
Yeah.
I think I think the sort of people who follow Gemma Collins on social media are the sort of people, perhaps, that V levels are aimed at. Which is that if you took Gemma Collins back to when she was at school and said, "You've got an option of V levels," how would that appeal to you?
Yeah. But why does everything have to? This is my point. Why does something like an education policy, these new V levels? Why does it always have to be like a PR thing? Why does it have to be an exposure thing? Why can't it be a really serious policy that is actually worked on properly and targeted properly? Like, why does it have to be kind of cheapened? And it just says a lot about the way a government thinks and works at this time. Yeah. And again, it's nothing to do with Gemma Collins. She's taking the gig. Good on her.
I think she's brilliant, Gemma Collins. I really do. I think people love watching Gemma Collins. I think she's an incredible talent.
It's more reflective on our politicians. And we talk about it a lot. And I think it is stark now. I think it's by each year that goes by, the quality of our politicians, our MPs, our secretaries of state, is nosediving. Nosediving.
A lot of people are saying the thing is you get the politicians you deserve, so perhaps it's our fault too. Can we talk about pigeons?
But not yet, Penny. We talk about this, but
Easy, Penny.
We'll try and get there. But we've only got 2 minutes left of this segment. I do want to get into this very serious story, which is the UK loosening Russian oil sanctions.
This is quite staggering at a time.
It's a massive U-turn.
I tell you what the problem is that it comes at a time when Ukraine is asking Britain to be part of the triumvirate, Britain, Germany and France, because they are now, Ukraine, after 4 grinding years, they seem to be getting the upper hand. And so they're asking for us, this E3 they're calling it. Zelensky is saying, can we go and try and sort things out? And just at the point at which the screw is turning on Russia after having invaded Ukraine, now we're saying, oh, hold on, let's just loosen Russian oil sanctions because of the fact that we're struggling. Now, I'm not saying that we're not struggling, and it is awful, and every time you go to the pump, you think, flipping Nora. But at the same time, it doesn't send a good signal.
This is the calculation that Putin probably made from way back in 2022. Way back then. And how do you turn around to the British people? And as someone who worked for Boris, when that war kicked off, how do you turn around to the British people? And as much as I'm desperate for Ukraine to come through this and in inverted commas, win, that looks like many different things. How do you turn around to the British electorate and say, well, our support for Ukraine unfortunately has to supersede what you face at the pumps? That's not sellable. No. And so it's one of the again, it's a very, very depressing story. It concerns me hugely. And this is just very, very quickly on this. I think the UK, and of course people go, well, you would just say this, and other people would say, well, I don't care, Ukraine's not a priority. Again, that's a valid view. I think the UK's support for Ukraine has waned. I think it has waned over the years, and we haven't actually done enough. We haven't done enough to support that country.
I take what you're saying. I think the alternative that many people will say is we can't even defend ourselves.
True.
And how can we defend another country in good conscience when we can't defend ourselves? And of course, we're talking about giving more money and other things to Ukraine, and particularly now we have to pay Russia for oil, and we're not even drilling our own oil. I think I think people just feel that we've gone mad. I don't know what you think, Ellie.
Well, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, the money that we've just given to Ukraine, we're hoping we will get back. It is the breadbasket of Europe. There'll be huge tourism to Ukraine when this war does eventually lift. So in that sense, we hope we get the money back. But it's an important thing, isn't it? Because it could be costly. If we allow Putin to take Ukraine, he's taking, a sovereign country within Europe.
And it's all very well, sitting in a TV studio making these things, but it's a tough decision for the government.
Sorry to cut you both off, but we'll be back with you in just an hour's time because we've got the Great British giveaway. It's £76,543.21, which is
the countdown to summer. Here are all the details you need.
There's a totally tax-free £76,543.21 in cash to be won. Cash to spend on anything you like. That's like having over £6,000 extra to spend each month for a whole year. You could spend it on a bucket list holiday, treats for all of the family, or just save it for a rainy day. Just make sure you don't miss your chance to win £76,543.21 for a chance to win £76,543 £76,543.21 in tax-free cash. Text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now, do stay with us. Still to come, the Shadow Business Secretary, Andrew Griffith, is here responding to that unexpected fall in inflation. That's after the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. After a showery day yesterday, it is going to be drier out there today with sunny spells. Still a few showers around, and it is going to be feeling warmer before those temperatures do start to rise later on in the week. So a lot of cloud around first thing this morning, some hill fog in places, but the cloud will tend to lift and break up. We'll see some glimmers of sunshine, a few showers around, especially across the central parts of England. The focus for the showers, though, through today is going to be across Scotland. Some of those merging into longer spells of rain to the far north into Orkney. Still quite breezy out there, but temperatures rising 18 to 21 degrees in the best of any sunny spells. As we head through this evening then, we see that band of showery rain across Orkney and Shetland gradually push its way northwards. Showers persisting across much of northern parts of Scotland. To the south, some late evening sunshine. Cloudy across Northern Ireland, and that persisting into northern England, into much of Wales and the southwest of England. But most of the showers will start easing and fading away as we go through the evening and into the night. So across the south, generally holding on to dry conditions overnight, but out towards the west, cloud and further spells of rain moving into Northern Ireland, into Wales, northern England, and eventually ending into southern parts of Scotland. With the cloud of rain around, temperatures will be holding up, so it's going to be another mild start to Thursday morning, only lows around 9 to 12 degrees. So a damp picture first thing on Thursday morning across northern parts of England and into Scotland, with outbreaks of rain here. Showery outbreaks of rain possible across Wales as well. Best of the sunshine through Thursday afternoon is going to be across the south of England. And here, temperatures rising nicely in the sunshine, highs of up to 24 degrees. Bye-bye.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go, or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M8 eastbound is restricted at Hermiston Gate due to a broken down vehicle. On the A14 westbound in Suffolk, a vehicle fire at Bury St Edmunds has caused lane closures and 30-minute delays. In Wiltshire, the A303 westbound remains closed after an accident. Normal traffic is expected after 11:30. In East Sussex, one lane is closed on the A27 westbound due to an overturned vehicle, with clear roads forecast around 11:30. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and cross-country services between Birmingham New Street and Stafford face disruptions. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
There's a totally tax-free £76,543.21 in cash to be won. Cash to spend on anything you like. That's like having over £6,000 extra to spend each month for a whole year. You could spend it on a bucket list holiday, treats for all of the family, or just save it for a rainy day. For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. live. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Breaking news in the past hour. Inflation drops by more than expected to 2.8%.
Yes, that's a 0.5% decrease, but there's already warnings that it will do very little to ease the pressure on households.
And how long will it last? All of that on the same day as Chancellor Rachel Reeves is reportedly putting unprecedented pressure on supermarkets to freeze their prices.
Yes, with oil prices reaching their highest point since the Iran war started and warnings food inflation could indeed peak at 10% this year, is it time for the government to take more radical action to keep costs down?
Well, one measure introduced by the government is to allow the flow of Russian oil into the UK. It's a major U-turn that's telling of the economic pressures facing the Treasury.
And the Prime Minister has supposedly been handed a blueprint for introducing digital ID without sparking public backlash.
I'm looking for that deep connection.
Someone who's kind,
generous.
Channel 4's Married at First Sight UK is pulled from all streaming platforms. It's over serious sexual assault claims. We're going to be debating this morning if reality shows encourage toxic behaviour.
And sport this morning, where Southampton are expelled from Saturday's richest match in football, the Championship playoff final. Aston Villa are in Istanbul for the Europa League final against Freiburg, which is tonight. And Arsenal are crowned the Premier League champions for the first time in 22 years.
Well, Arsenal didn't even kick a ball last night, but they still won the title. Manchester City's draw at Bournemouth handed Arteta's side their first Premier League crown since 2004. We'll be live here throughout the morning at the Emirates.
Temperatures are on the rise, but there's still a few showers in the mix. I'll have all of the details coming up shortly.
Good morning, it's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast.
I'm delighted to say we're joined now by Shadow Secretary of State for Business and Trade, Andrew Griffith. Very good morning to you, Mr. Griffith. What's your reaction to the breaking news in the past hour that inflation has dropped by more than expected to 2.8%? Is that going to ease pressure on households? And how long will this last?
Well, many people think this is just the calm before the storm, and what we've actually seen today is something called producer price inflation. So the costs that are being faced by firms has gone up by nearly 8%. Sooner or later, that's coming down the track towards what ordinary people are going to pay for in their supermarket shopping.
And Mr. Griffiths as well, we've seen the Chancellor out and about, or at least saying that she wants supermarkets, indeed, to freeze prices. Would you endorse a cap on some particular groceries?
No, that would be completely the wrong answer. I mean, that's the sort of thing we hear about in Soviet Russia, in Venezuela, in Cuba. There's a lot of things that are within the Chancellor's responsibility. They've pushed up the cost of hiring people. They've pushed up the cost on business of business rates. These are things that the Chancellor should be addressing. We've been calling this out for more than 12 months, warning the Chancellor that precisely this would happen. Price controls aren't the answer. The answer is for the Chancellor to look at her own actions and take those things to protect ordinary households.
Reeves is drawing up plans for targeted intervention to help the poorest households coping with energy bills specifically. What should that look like?
Well, look, the government should be focusing on things like not putting up the tax on fuel, reducing the cost on business that is in turn coming through into people's shopping. And one thing the government, we're hearing, should absolutely not be doing is releasing the sanctions on Russian oil and gas. Completely the wrong decision, not exploiting the resources that are in our own North Sea. The British people have been proud to stand with Ukraine, to stand up for Putin, make sacrifices over many years. It's completely wrong for the government to be reversing that course without any consultation, without asking the British people, without even coming to Parliament.
And just to take us to a slightly different story here, we've seen the Education Secretary's had a meeting with quite a famous celebrity, Gemma Collins, to talk about vocational courses. And I know this isn't policy, Mr. Griffiths, but is it appropriate to be using celebrities to promote government policy?
Look, what I want to hear from the government is that they're focusing on standards in the classroom. They're not, for example, attacking the independent school sector by hiking up VAT, and they're focusing on doing the day job. So I don't think it's a great look when the government is spending taxpayers' money, we don't know that's the case, but we can assume it may be, on influencers on social media rather than getting on and doing the day job.
Can I ask you about the significant U-turn? The UK government loosening strict sanctions on Russian oil refined into diesel and jet fuel in third countries. This is as prices, of course, are rising at the pumps. There are clearly growing supply concerns. Is this the right course of action?
No, this is completely immoral. It's an insane course of action when we're not exploiting the oil and gas in our own North Sea, and Norway are doing that and selling it to us. The British people have made great sacrifices along the way, standing shoulder to shoulder, standing up to Putin. And for the government to do this, completely ethically the wrong thing to do. British people understand that you sometimes have to make these sacrifices. We've done that all the way along, and it's the wrong decision by the government. Conservatives oppose this decision, and conversely, we want to exploit the oil and gas in our own North Sea resources, something the government is just refusing to do.
OK, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That's Shadow Secretary of State for Business and Trade, Andrew Griffiths. And again, apologies for the rabble behind you. Indeed, it's becoming a very, very big frustration for our audience and for us, and I'm sure for the politicians who want to talk about what's happening in the country. We really do need to get that employment rate up, don't we?
Yes, clearly. I think. Well, listening across all of that is GB News presenter Andrew Pearce. Morning to you, Andrew. So much to talk to you about, but can I actually start with Gemma Collins? Because you were aghast at this, aren't you?
What the hell?
What are they
thinking? Just a stupid gimmick, childish. This is a government that's desperate. You could see Bridget Phillips wanted to be anywhere else but in the room with that woman.
Whose idea was that?
That'll be some spin doctor who thinks this will get us in touch with the young vote, the woke vote. It's just embarrassing, and it shows they've run out of ideas. They have to ask somebody like Gemma Collins.
Yeah, and listen, this is I want to make this very clear. Gemma Collins is doing her job. She's been asked to come on and do something, and good for her. This is not an attack on Gemma Collins. It's an attack on the government having to resort to. And I think the criticism really is that if you, and I've said this earlier on, if you had Gemma Collins interviewing young people who are doing vocational courses, that might have been better. But the fact that they had to use Bridget Phillipson feels. Actually, Gemma Collins is praising Bridget Phillipson's job, who's a career politician.
It's a love-in, isn't it?
No, it's a love fest.
It's embarrassing, and it will win over nobody. And I don't think celebrities work in politics anyway. I think they should have given up.
We saw that in America, didn't we?
People want to see real policy and real change, don't they?
They do.
Can we ask about this plan we're hearing from the Chancellor that essential items in the supermarkets, their prices could be frozen? Is it a good idea?
Why didn't she just move to the Soviet Union? It's an absolutely absurd. What they could do is tackle shoplifting.
Yeah.
Last year, it was an all-time high. I just checked the figures. 530,000 recorded offences in England and Wales. They're the ones that have been recorded by the police. What about the hundreds of thousands of other offences that weren't recorded? Every time somebody nicks something from a shop, that's putting prices up, and the government is doing nothing about it. Cut national insurance, dramatic increase in supermarket costs. We heard that from all the major retailers. What they're trying to do again is pass the buck to the government for their own mistakes, their own errors, not least national insurance, not least putting up the minimum wage. This is desperate. This is a government that is desperate. Keir Starmer, I can feel he's flailing around for ideas to try to boost his popularity.
Yeah, $2 billion, I think it cost the economy last year, shoplifting, an absolutely incredible amount of money.
And that goes on everybody's shopping basket.
Let's talk about this lifting of Russian sanctions on oil. Again, it's been a staunch policy of the UK government to defend Ukraine. However, we're in such a dire strait with the oil crisis that is impending. We had the International Energy Agency yesterday warning there are just weeks left of fuel in many countries. Oil supply indeed. And yet now we're having to go back cap in hand to Russia.
So we're giving billions of pounds in taxpayers' money to support Ukraine, who are fighting Russia, and now we're going to start buying Russian oil. Again, no joined-up thinking. And yesterday in the House of Commons, the Labour Party, Labour MPs, the government voted against Tory plans to start drilling in the North Sea, new licences. Again, there's millions of tonnes of oil and gas in the North Sea. Why don't we utilise that rather than buying cheap Russia gas from Russia?
Well, they'd argue, right? They'd argue that actually, if you can't, the oil is not a limited supply, it's not unlimited, and that actually we should double down on net zero. We should double down on building wind farms and solar farms, Andrew.
Well, it takes too long, and also the other thing they could do is, when the chancellors talk about capping prices, get the green bills off of our energy bills. How much is that now? 25%, 30% of our bills now is all green taxes. In the last 48 hours, this government's just veered even more off the rails than it has been for weeks. They're in desperate places, and of course we know there's a big political test coming up, and this is what this is all about.
Yeah. Can we talk about inflation? A surprise drop this morning to 2.8%, down by 0.5%. Yeah, very welcome. How long will it last? And will people actually feel it, Andrew? Because some of you will get in touch saying, I can't believe it. I literally can't believe the figures. I go in to do our weekly shop, the same products, it's so expensive. And when you speak to anybody, we're all in the same boat. Life is so expensive.
And food inflation is much higher than the headline inflation figure, and it's going to get a lot higher. And that is how most people's cost of living is felt at the supermarket. Look, I'm a lucky guy. I don't have to worry too much about my supermarket bill. But the other week, I even said to the cashier in my store, how much did you say? She said, this is happening all the time. People are shocked by how much they're having to pay for basic
stuff. A handful of items can get you 30 quid.
Yeah.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now the Chancellor's saying, if you limit the prices, we'll do something on regulations. It's government policy is driving up inflation.
Indeed. I guess this is the reality, isn't it? We've got the wage growth yesterday sort of going down.
Stagnant. Yeah.
Unemployment going up. We've got the fertiliser crisis, which is partnered with the oil crisis. We're having to lift sanctions on Russian oil, which is, again, long-standing government policy to back Ukraine. It seems like we're becoming some sort of irrelevance on the global stage almost, Andrew.
What will all the allies of... What would Zelensky think to this? I mean, we give him all the support, we serenade him, we praise him, we give him standing ovations when he addresses the United Nations and the British Parliament, and now we're buying oil from Putin, the biggest rogue on the international stage. It's shocking, frankly.
Would you agree with Andrew Griffith, who was on just a few moments ago, saying that this is ethically wrong?
I do. I do. And I just think, look, a lot of people probably watching now and listening saying, we've been giving too much money to Ukraine, but we are where we are, and we still continue to give billions. It makes no sense to give money to Ukraine on one hand and then fund Russia's war effort.
As you say, where's the joined-up thinking?
No joined-up thinking.
Right, Andrew, you've got a whole show coming up at 9:30. You've got an awful lot to talk about, haven't you?
Certainly do. And talking of Russia, Vladimir Putin has been welcomed to Beijing today. During a meeting between the two superpowers, the Russian president told Xi Jinping that the relationship between the two countries has reached an unprecedentedly high level. Well, Xi has called his counterpart an old friend and described their ties as unyielding. The two leaders are expected to sign documents later today before they both give statements to the media.
James Roscoe, the deputy to Britain's ambassador in Washington, has abruptly left his post. The Foreign Office declined to give any explanation as to why. He played a key role in President Donald Trump's state visit to the UK and in King Charles's recent visit to the US.
The finance watchdog has warned that young drivers are being targeted by ghost brokers selling fake car insurance online. The Financial Conduct Authority has warned that half of drivers aged 16 to 25 have bought policies through social media or messaging apps, many of which are scams.
Now let's get a check on the weather with Catherine Chalk. It's meant to be stunning next week.
Yeah,
Bank holiday Monday.
Barbecue season's back.
Barbecue season is back.
Wait.
For those of you that get bank holidays, it's going to be a lovely...
Well, we'll be here.
We'll be here, of course.
Yeah.
But you can all enjoy your burgers and your sausages.
Try and join us on breakfast on your bank holiday morning before you go and have a
Yes,
day.
we will be here. But the weather is going to start to look nicer. I don't know if it's happening today, though.
No.
But Catherine Chalk's got all the details.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. After a showery day yesterday, it is going to be drier out there today with sunny spells. Still a few showers around, and it is going to be feeling warmer before those temperatures do start to rise later on in the week. So a lot of cloud around first thing this morning, some hill fog in places, but the cloud will tend to lift and break up. We'll see some glimmers of sunshine, a few showers around, especially across the central parts of England. The focus for the showers, though, through today is going to be across Scotland. Some of those merging into longer spells of rain to the far north into Orkney. Still quite breezy out there, but temperatures rising 18 to 21 degrees in the best of any sunny spells. As we head through this evening then, we see that band of showery rain across Orkney and Shetland gradually push its way northwards. Showers persisting across much of northern parts of Scotland. To the south, some late evening sunshine. Cloudy across Northern Ireland, and that persisting into northern England, into much of Wales and the southwest of England. But most of the showers will start easing and fading away as we go through the evening and into the night. So across the south, generally holding on to dry conditions overnight, but out towards the west, cloud and further spells of rain moving into Northern Ireland, into Wales, northern England, and eventually ending into southern parts of Scotland. With the cloud or rain around, temperatures will be holding up, so it's going to be another mild start to Thursday morning, only lows around 9 to 12 degrees. So a damp picture first thing on Thursday morning across northern parts of England and into Scotland, with outbreaks of rain here. Showery outbreaks of rain possible across Wales as well. Best of the sunshine through Thursday afternoon is going to be across the south of England. And here, temperatures rising nicely in the sunshine, highs of up to 24 degrees. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Loads of you getting in touch on food inflation. Becky says our weekly shop is now getting ridiculous. Mrs. Meldrew has said ditto. Almost weekly I'm seeing the prices rise or the items shrink. It is so depressing.
It's tough. It's really tough for people out there at the moment. And again, we thought it was going to get better, didn't we? We were told the cost of living is going to be the key thing that this government was going to tackle. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. I think
People aren't feeling it, are they? They're not
No.
feeling it in the supermarkets. They're not feeling it at the pumps.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, it certainly is. All right, look, still to come. Married at First Sight UK has been pulled off streaming services after rape allegations were made by participants on the show. It's not the only reality programme that's faced controversy over the years, of course, whether it's Love Island or I'm a Celeb. We'll be debating whether these types of shows are encouraging toxic behaviour. That's coming up next.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain,
with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 20 minutes past 8. Now, the hit TV show Married at First Sight UK is facing a potential police probe and could be taken off the airwaves permanently. It's after 3 women claimed that they were sexually assaulted by their on-screen husbands during filming.
Well, the allegations have reignited a debate over whether similar shows like Love Island are normalising coercive and toxic behaviour. Even the family favourite I'm a Celebrity came under scrutiny in its latest series.
And Big Brother as well.
Yes.
Has come under scrutiny
yes,
before as well.
Many of them.
So our question is, do reality TV shows encourage toxic behaviour?
All right, we're now joined by former host of Celebs Go Dating, Nadia Essex, and former reality TV contestant Lizzie Cundy. Good morning, you two. Thanks for joining us. Nadia, perhaps start with you on this one, because, of course, these are quite serious allegations. So we're going to talk about all these shows as a whole. Is it the case that reality TV is just becoming very toxic?
Yes. And as the host of a show for 2 years, I have lived experience of producers telling me that, you know, things have to go a certain way because viewers, you know, like drama creates viewers, viewers creates advertisers, advertisers pay for the show. So yeah, it's kind of like a basic formula of any kind of business that you need revenue, and unfortunately the biggest shows that, you know, the biggest shows with the biggest viewerships are the ones where there's massive drama. So even though, you know, producers are still human beings, and obviously I don't think anyone intentionally wants anybody to get hurt. Absolutely, I've had conversations with producers that are like, go on, dial it up a bit. You know, we need tears on this one. Go in there and get tears and things like that to bump it up a bit. So yeah, it happens all the time.
Lizzie, what do you think? Drama makes good TV, but does that in turn foster toxic behaviour?
Well, I have to say, of course, we all know, we watch the shows like Big Brother, like the show Nadia was on. We like the drama, we like the tears, you know, that makes TV gold. But there is a thin line, isn't there, from entertainment to exploitation, and that, you know, there is a real duty of care that we need to have on these sorts of shows. Look, I was on an amazing show with ITV called Shirley Valentine, which was like the Love Island, but for the golden oldies. And they didn't, you know, the camera crew, I had a chaperone, no one left my side, you know, if I went on dates, you know, and I would actually say, can I have a little bit of time on my own? Because it's kind of off-putting having cameras zooming around at you, just as someone is trying to say something, you know, a bit intimate to you. So in my case, my experience, ITV were incredible, but these sorts of allegations are absolutely horrific. And with a show like Married on First Sight, let's remember, this format is so controversial. You're meeting someone for the first time and getting married with them, and then you're together as a couple. And, you know, in hindsight, it's no wonder it went wrong.
Yeah, Nadia, I'll put this back to you because I guess the reality is that traditional linear TV is changing a lot, and a lot of the digital platforms have now got these YouTubers who do their own things. They have their own sorts of TV shows going on online. Is it the case that it's having to become more dramatic to retain audiences and bring people in? Is that why this is happening? Because we have seen it change a lot, haven't we? I don't think you go back to Blind Date, for example. It was never like this. It was much softer, much more TV-friendly, much more viewer-friendly. Is that what it is? Or is it perhaps social media, the other way round, driving the drama?
Yes, absolutely. If you go back and watch Love Island Season 2, it, in the first episode, is so shocking that I cannot believe that they even showed it. They would never be allowed to show some of the things they showed when it was like Alex and Olivia Bowen's year. There's just no way. But there wasn't such a big social media aspect, and also everybody wasn't so active and voice their opinion on social media. So it wasn't a case of, there wasn't so much pylons, there wasn't so much social media interest, and you know, the public have a lot of sway in the way that producers, you know, they see how the land lies, and then they decide which stories to follow up on and which ones to drop and things like that. Like, they're trying to juggle a lot of balls to make great telly, but the public might pick up on something really small that the producers didn't even realise was going to be a big thing because everyone on TikTok is talking about it, and so then they're going to hone in on that more. So I think it's the rise in social media and people having opinion, people screaming at the TV and at social media going, duty of care, duty of care, duty of care. And then the next episode, when nothing happens, going, this is so boring. Why is everyone watching it? It's so rubbish. This show should be finished. So from a producer's and a TV point of view, I totally understand how difficult it must be to find that balance. Yeah. But I think everybody knows my story on, you know, Celebs Go Dating and how difficult it was when I was trying to whistleblow, and how much I was just ignored, and how hard it is. And hopefully now things have changed. I see, you know, these women getting so much support, and I think that's a good side of social media, is that everything's like out there. You can't really hide anything anymore. So that, you know, it's a sort of blessing and curse.
But what I was going to say, look, we all want these dating shows to continue because they are great TV. And look, I'm Married at First Sight, whether you liked the show or loathed it, it got over 60 million viewers in Australia alone on its first run. Everyone was gripped with it. The producers are making big money from it. And, you know, people love these shows. As you said, Alex, we had Blind Date, you know, when I was growing up, which I loved every Saturday night, we'd rush home for, you know, and I love Island, and I love Celebs Go Dating. I love all these shows, but what we're seeing here, we need a deeper, greater sense of care, and I think Love Island have stepped that up with their aftercare since other incidences. But you know, Married at First Sight, it's globally a juggernaut in the ratings, and people just wanted it more and more extreme. That was the problem.
Lizzie, do you think that these shows are going to have to change ultimately? I mean, you mentioned the format there of Married at First Sight, where people are quite literally married at first sight, not a legal wedding, but it is a ceremony, and then they are put in a one-bedroom apartment to live together as man and wife. Do you think that the formats of these dating shows are compatible with what we're talking about when it comes to safeguarding and looking after somebody's well-being?
Well, that's a priority. This is a priority to look after, you know, that the people that are on this show, they're going to have to change things. I think people, you know, just love these formats. They've gone to such an extreme now. I don't know what we're going to do, because as Nadia said, we're expecting this. You know, we want all the drama, the tears. And we need good viewings and ratings. That's what it's about. But what companies and, you know, TV production companies need now to do is that extra duty of care. Like on the movies, they have a coordinator. They call it an intimacy coordinator. Someone who's there at all times. I don't know how that's going to change the show. They have it in the movies. They might have to have it in reality shows now. There has to be a change, because we can't have allegations that are this horrific like this again.
Nadia, can I put this to you, playing a bit of devil's advocate here as well, just to balance things out a little bit. Is there something to be said about contestants as well here? You know, contestants being more vocal, or perhaps just people saying, actually, let's not go on these shows anymore? Or is it just the draw is so big to become a celebrity that people can't help themselves?
I think I think if we change the word contestant to the word men, the problem is... The wider problem is men, and that the women on these shows aren't being protected from, you know, violent, misogynistic, you know, allegedly sexually deviant men. And I don't know how, you know, you go through a psychological test with a psychologist before every single show, but as I know firsthand and know other people, everybody lies about that. You know, they ask you, you know, do you have any trauma and this and that, and everyone's just no. Do you have any? And you know, the background checks aren't good enough, in my opinion, as well. There's not enough. They see a character, they like a character, and they don't do enough background checks into social media. We had, you know, Love Island. It's usually a show comes on, they announce the cast, and at least one man is removed because he has an ex saying that he's violent or something, some kind of controversy, you know, something happening. And so I think it's a sort of broader picture of how we kind of let this misogynistic male thing happen, where we don't have like a zero tolerance policy on it, because women should be able to go on a TV show and be perfectly safe. There are now multiple women from multiple TV shows, Celebs Go Dating, allegedly Maths, that have come out of there that are saying that people on that show have raped them. That shouldn't even be a conversation that any woman needs to have. Should I not go on a TV show because there's a possibility I might be raped? That's a bigger, more important thing than you know, the contestants and things like that. It's got to be bigger background checks, surely.
Okay.
Nadia, I'm just going to quickly say that I have a friend that has been on one of the most famous dating shows who said they got abused by a woman. So I think it goes on all areas, Nadia. And I think you're correct in saying there needs to be stronger vetting on the contestants and who they have on these shows.
Yeah. That we can all agree on. Lizzie and Nadia, thank you so much. Really interesting discussion. Loads of you getting in touch on this one, so do keep them coming in. We should say that all three men accused of wrongdoing on Married at First Sight deny the allegations, and Channel 4 have given us this statement.
Yes, Channel 4 was asked to respond to claims of failures in welfare protocols. Channel 4 believes that when concerns related to contributor welfare were raised through existing welfare and production protocols, prompt and appropriate action was taken. Based on the information available at the time, Channel 4 strongly refutes any claim to the contrary.
And lawyers for CPL, which is the production company responsible for the show, have told the media that its welfare system was gold standard and industry leading, and also said it acted appropriately in all of these cases.
All right, look, if you're travelling to work or school now, here's your traffic and travel update. And don't forget, you can stay with us on digital and radio.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A77 northbound Bogand off-slip is closed for roadworks. On the M4 eastbound at junction 33 near Capel Lanilturn, congestion affects the off-slip. In Sandwell, the M5 southbound between junctions 1 and 2 has a lane closed due to road management, with normal conditions expected after 9:15. On the A27 westbound in East Sussex between junctions A277 and A23, a lane remains closed due to an overturned vehicle. On the trains, disruptions occur on Avanti West Coast services between Birmingham New Street and Stafford. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Loads of you getting in touch on that debate about reality TV. Jacqueline says reality TV is based on confrontation, drama and toxic interactions, which has repeatedly been shown that it harms individuals. It's a recipe for disaster and it needs more robust independent processes in order to protect its contestants.
Yeah, Paul Ferguson here says never watched any of these shows. In today's life, the women of today are just as bad as the men when flirting on TV shows to become famous. And I have to say, having watched some of these reality shows, and I have indulged in them, I have to say I do think that sometimes the women can be just as bad as men. Of course, not necessarily on the sexual assault allegations, but on particularly on the way the behaviour is very toxic across the board. Across the board.
Michael says yes, reality shows are fostering toxic behaviour. It's ridiculous what gets labelled as entertainment these days. All very good views. Keep them coming in.
All right, still to come. Paul, how are you feeling?
I feel $1 million. We're going to be going over to the Emirates, which will be fun, and also speaking to an Arsenal fan, which will be even more fun for me as the torture continues here on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
The Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point.
Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
All right, Paul Coy is here with the sports news.
So Arsenal have won the title for the first time in 22 years. Crazy scenes outside the Emirates last night. They didn't even play. I mean, this is... I don't know whether this is the worst thing. I mean, it's great that they've won the title for Arsenal fans, but the thing is, though, is that you would kind of want it to happen on the pitch, but it didn't. Arsenal players were at the training ground celebrating, having a lovely time.
I think they'll be delighted anyway.
I think they probably will. I don't think they'll really care. It doesn't really matter the fact where they've won it. They've already done it. But Sam Francis is actually at the Emirates right now. I don't know whether there's anything going on there. How are we looking, Sam?
Morning, Paul. Yeah, well, it is certainly quite quiet, but the remnants of a night of celebration left strewn on the streets here outside the Emirates where I am this morning. We have had a few supporters gathering already, and I'm sure it will pick up throughout the rest of the day, but it means that the stadium here behind me, 22 long years later, is now the home, although, Paul, I know you probably wouldn't say the same, is the home of the best team in England. Interestingly enough, though, it didn't take place here last night. That took place down in Bournemouth, over around 100 miles away from where I am now. And that was a match between Manchester City and Bournemouth. Man City hoping that they would be able to defeat Bournemouth in an attempt to really draw this title race into the final day of the league challenge, but sadly for them they couldn't do it. Arsenal, though, had long waited for that news, and the broke last night as celebrations continued here, securing that win for the Premier League title. And Pep Guardiola last night gave his thoughts on Arsenal's win. He did indeed celebrate with them and congratulate them, but he also addressed the concerns over his future as manager at Man City.
Congratulate Arsenal, Mikel, staff, backroom staff, fans for this Premier League well deserved. In the first moment there is a problem, the players don't follow you anymore. And you have to stay there. And always we talk with my chairman, when we talk, Pep, what we're going to do, I said, let the season goes, and when we'll be over, we'll talk. But I think he deserved, right? When I deserved the first to talk about him, what do you have to do? I'm fine. So now is the moment with Ferran, with especially my chairman, to talk, and after that, we'll see what happens.
Well, there is another layer, in fact, to all of this. Mikel Arteta was, in fact, Pep Guardiola's assistant back in the day at Manchester City. Now, though, he has gone on to defeat his former boss's club and secure the win for himself. And the problem is, if Guardiola really can't see out his future at City, if it's coming to an end, then this twist is brutal. It wasn't Manchester United, it wasn't Liverpool or Chelsea that took the win away from him. It was the very man who he used to lead and gave him his next position in Arsenal. For supporters here who, as I say, are going to slowly start gathering here, this is a day of celebration and excitement. The win is not over for them. They are going to continue celebrating long into the week, I am sure, and we are hoping to speak to people later today to get their reactions on this stunning and historic 22-year waited victory for Arsenal.
Thanks, Sam. It was... I think I was expecting to see bodies like strewn across the streets there. I think everybody's gone home now, though, haven't they?
There'll be lots of sore heads in North London.
OK.
They're all in the pubs last night. Because, you know, you were saying, where should people watch the game? And we said we'd like to watch it at home because it'd be nice and cosy.
Sure.
Not what they did.
Yeah.
Packed out the pubs.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. But nearly, Man City, nearly did it. Right at the very end, 95th minute. Let's speak to an Arsenal fan, shall we? This is going to be fun. Phil Mason is going to join us. Hello, Phil.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Oh, now don't say it like that. I can hear the way you said it. I'm not having all that business. We've never met, and already you've started on me.
Any questions? Before you ask me any questions, I just saw your little intro there. Yeah. To the guy walking around the Emirates Stadium. And I just thought to myself, any reason to detract from Arsenal winning the Premier League, you'll take it. Oh, they didn't win it while they were playing. Oh, my God. Like, come on, Paul. Grow up, mate. You might just dodge relegation. Grow up. Have a bit of maturity. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But yeah.
This is unbelievable.
What a fantastic evening. What a fantastic evening.
Look, Phil, I'm very pleased for you. And the thing is that what I'm saying is that as an Arsenal fan, listen, you know, as an Arsenal fan, let me ask you, honestly, it would have been nicer to actually be, I would say about anybody, that to be in their stadium and have it, of course you're going to get the trophy, but did it make any difference the fact that you weren't actually at your own stadium? That is not knocking, but I know you're looking for something, but really you don't need to worry about that, my friend.
It doesn't make the blindest bit of difference.
OK.
When 22 years of just people being absolutely insufferable from every angle, from every media outlet, from TalkSport, from BBC Sport, Match of the Day, it doesn't matter.
What do you mean? What do you mean insufferable? Where is all this coming from? All this, you should be enjoying yourself instead of being so angry about the whole thing. What's the problem?
Reveling. I'm reveling.
Well, you should be reveling. You've just won the Premier League title. You need to be happy instead of going, well, they're this and this. You should be enjoying it. Does it worry you, though, at all that maybe that Arteta has changed the style of Arsenal football to make it more scoring from corners and set pieces? That hasn't worried you in the slightest, has it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We've just won the Premier League. I don't care how we did it. I mean, I would have preferred it to be sort of like Wenger-esque, free-flowing football that we used to play. I'm sort of with every sort of neutral fan on that as well. But I don't care that we've stunk the house out, to get to where we are. Because we have taken absolute pelters for so many years off of so many different fan bases.
Right.
And to reach the mountaintop in the manner that we've done it, and just to see, like, week after week on every, like, sort of social media outlet, just people coming for us, just sending for us. It's amazing that we've done it in this way.
You need to stop worrying about everybody else and actually enjoy the thing yourself. You seem so upset and angry about it, Phil. It's worrying me. I just want you to enjoy it.
I'm also enjoying seeing how much it's winding you up. The fact that, like, we've managed to sort of reach the mountaintop.
Right, well, let's have a look. Now, look, I want where are you there? Is this you taking this? Where was this? Was this at the Look, without having a go at me, try and actually say how much fun you had at the Emirates last night.
It was incredible. It was the best night of my life. I honestly didn't think that Bournemouth were going to get a result against City. It was a complete surprise. So when it all kind of kicked off, I was in a local pub in Mornington Crescent just as like Croupie Jr. scored, and then I spent like the next 70 minutes with like sort of my face pressed up against the telly, just praying that there would be a result. And then obviously went to the Emirates Stadium, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Great. And tell me, though, what was it like, though? Honestly, after Haaland scored, it was very late. Now, what was that feeling like, waiting and waiting? Because we know what City are like. Was it a nightmare, or were you completely confident at that point? It must have been very nervy.
It was incredibly nervy, but I just sort of like, have you seen the film Fever Pitch? It was kind of like, it felt a little bit like that. Everything sort of in slow motion. I felt a mixture of nerves, but I was also really, really numb because I thought it's 1-1. Bournemouth are a relatively good team, but I could see it going to 2-1 and having to go to the final day. So I wasn't really pinning my hopes on it. But as soon as that final whistle went, it was just an explosion of joy. It was just the best moment.
That, in my eyes, it doesn't matter who you play for, who you support, that is what sport is about. The explosion of joy, that wonderful feeling that people do not understand, that unbridled joy when your team wins. And when they won the Premier League, of course, you're going to feel it. Listen, congrats. Stop worrying about everybody else. Enjoy yourself. You've got another big final coming up. Thanks for your time. And by the way, you don't need to wear a scarf because you're indoors. But thank you very much, Phil. And take care. We'll see you soon.
Oh, my God.
Thanks. Thank you. Bye-bye. Let's not have him on again, OK? That was all right.
We were just sitting here.
We were in
jaws on the floor, me and Ellie going, I can't, this is just absolutely
I've had some day.
You really have.
Wow.
And just that Phil just put salt in the wound.
Wow.
But you know what? We got there in the end. I want to hear about the joy. I'm not worried about it's not Phil, everybody's had a go. That's not what it's about. It's about the joy, and he showed it in the end. So well done, Phil.
We got there
eventually.
Well done.
Didn't we?
Well done. I think everybody at home enjoyed that.
They really did.
Thanks, Coach. You did well.
Thank you, Ellie.
I think those reaction shots are going to be there forever.
Now, do stay with us still to come. We're going to be going through the papers with Oscar and Penny.
Yes, but first, here's your forecast for some of our top European destinations, and we're going to get Paul a cup of chamomile tea or something.
Or Xanax.
What's all this about?
dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello. If you're heading off to Europe, well, high pressure is in charge, bringing plenty of warm sunshine around. Still a few showers, and it is cloudy across Madeira and the Canary Islands through Thursday. Lots of sunshine to be had across Spain, Portugal and France, across Italy and across Greece. That's where we'll see some showers bubbling up through the afternoon. Otherwise, temperatures into the mid to high 20s. That theme continues as we go through the week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
So much thought goes into the lyrics these days, doesn't it? Well, joining me now is the Eurovision expert, Paul Jordan. Paul, first of all, let's have your verdict on the winning song.
Good morning, Angela. I think the song was well-deserved. It was very energetic and very catchy. And most people are watching Eurovision for the first time on the night, and it stood out. So I think it's deserved. And it's always nice to see a new country winning for the first time.
But it wasn't really a song, was it? It was an instrumental with somebody saying Bangaranga several times.
Don't forget the dancing, though. It's catchy, you know, Eurovision, it's about the songs, it's about the performance, it's about the spectacle. So it's all of those things. It's a television show, and it caught the imagination of both the public and the jury. So we're off to Bulgaria next year.
Right. And the British entry, what was your verdict on that?
Well, I knew it wasn't going to do well because I felt that it was too kind of daring, but I actually think fair play, we've tried something different. Eurovision is not safe, you know, Bangaranga for Bulgaria was not a safe choice. It didn't pay off, but ultimately, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean we've done that badly because you can technically come 11th with every country's ranking and still get 0 points. I'm not sure that's what happened last night, but certainly I think Sam, who represented the UK, should hold his head up high. He did well.
Really? 1 point? Yeah. Anyway, look, does this bring the whole question of Eurovision into, the whole subject rather, into question? I mean, what impact does this competition every year actually have on the music industry? We were checking, it was 1974 when ABBA won with Waterloo. They went on to be international megastars. Most of the others have sunk without trace.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
OK, welcome back. Penny Smith.
Sorry.
And Oscar Redrock.
Microphones are indeed live.
And we are live on television.
Yes, we are.
Please do not
Anything
swear.
can happen. At least we're not on a reality TV show, eh?
Yes, things could be worse.
Well, look, I know you two are here to talk about the papers, but we did have a new report in this morning. GBnews.com reporting this. Ed Miliband, Oscar, has made a major push to become Chancellor of the Exchequer under an Andy Burnham premiership. Reports are suggesting, well, the Energy Secretary is believed to be the favourite to replace Rachel Reeves in the Treasury should Sir Keir Starmer lose a leadership challenge.
Yeah, I think that's where the direction of travel from within the Labour Party, where that left, soft left, would want it to go. I think that is utterly terrifying for the country.
But they are going to stick to fiscal rules now.
Well, this is the weird line they have to tread because... And this is an odd thing to say in a way. Do you know how easy it would be for Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves to give that party, who are so on their backs, well, that's an understatement, what they want, which is more spending? And do you know how actually, and people might not like to hear this in a way, and I've been a huge critique of Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves, but how kind of relatively admirable it is, relatively, that Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves will not do that. That despite all the pressure under, they will not throw that Tory equivalent of red meat to Labour MPs and the party in terms of spending. These guys will evidently have to offer something different, which would mean more government spending, which would mean higher taxes. And I think that is the Rubicon that will be crossed, that I think the electorate will, the backs of working people will not be able to take. So Ed Miliband, I think he's a decent guy. He seems like a nice guy, in inverted commas. I think his policies for this country will be terrifying.
OK. Should we move on?
Penny, let's look at something totally different. I promised you pigeons.
Yes.
So let's discuss them.
Yes, because people get very hot under the collar about pigeons. Yeah, about pigeons and about...
Rats of the sky.
Thank you, yes, getting into a flap. So Barcelona is putting pigeons on the pill and Britain could be next. That is it.
As in the contraceptive pill?
Yes, that sort of thing. 10 grams of corn eaten daily by a pidge will render both female and male birds temporary and fertile after 5 days, laying eggs that will not hatch. So what they're saying is this is a kind of more... a better way of dealing with the pigeons, which do actually cause quite a problem.
Because they're having too many babies.
Well, they have an awful lot of babies.
Is it?
Apparently, they're very good parents.
Oh.
Apparently, yeah.
They're not babies, are they?
What would they be called? Chicks?
Well, the chicks, I would have thought, but I quite like the idea.
I've never seen a baby pigeon.
Yes, come to think of it, neither have I. Yeah. Anyway, let's go to San Francis at the Emirates, shall we? After a historic night for Arsenal.
Morning. Well, the 22-year wait is over. Since 2004, the Emirates have been waiting for a new victory. Now they have a new team and a new title. We'll be here at the Emirates, but first, the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. After a showery day yesterday, it is going to be drier out there today with sunny spells. Still a few showers around and it is going to be feeling warmer before those temperatures do start to rise later on in the week. So a lot of cloud around first thing this morning, some hill fog in places, but the cloud will tend to lift and break up. We'll see some glimmers of sunshine, a few showers around, especially across the central parts of England. The focus for the showers, though, through today is going to be across Scotland. Some of those merging into longer spells of rain to the far north into Orkney. Still quite breezy out there, but temperatures rising 18 to 21 degrees in the best of any sunny spells. As we head through this evening then, we see that band of showery rain across Orkney and Shetland gradually push its way northwards. Showers persisting across much of northern parts of Scotland. To the south, some late evening sunshine. Cloudy across Northern Ireland, and that persisting into northern England, into much of Wales and the southwest of England. But most of the showers will start easing and fading away as we go through the evening and into the night. So across the south, generally holding on to dry conditions overnight, but out towards the west, cloud and further spells of rain moving into Northern Ireland, into Wales, northern England, and eventually ending into southern parts of Scotland. With the cloud or rain around, temperatures will be holding up, so it's going to be another mild start to Thursday morning, only lows around 9 to 12 degrees. So a damp picture first thing on Thursday morning across northern parts of England and into Scotland, with outbreaks of rain here. Showery outbreaks of rain possible across Wales as well. Best of the sunshine through Thursday afternoon is going to be across the south of England. And here, temperatures rising nicely in the sunshine, highs of up to 24 degrees. Bye-bye.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A77 northbound Bogue End off-slip is closed for roadworks. On the M5 southbound between junctions 1 and 2 in Sandwell, one lane is closed, causing 15-minute delays. Avoid the A34 southbound between the A420 and A423 due to congestion. An accident has closed all lanes westbound on the A303 between the A338 and A345. One westbound lane is closed on the A27 between the A277 and A23 after a vehicle overturned. And on the trains, disruption continues between Birmingham New Street and Stafford on Avanti West Coast and cross-country services. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We're counting down to a spectacular summer. It's your chance to win £76,543 and 21 pence in totally tax-free cash. A lump sum that you could have in time to splash out with this summer. And because it's tax-free, you get to keep every single penny. For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Brave.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things up the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Breaking news in the past 2 hours. Inflation drops by more than expected to 2.8%.
Yes, that's a 0.5% decrease, but there's already warnings that it will do little to ease the pressure on households.
Well, that's all on the same day as the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, is reportedly putting unprecedented pressure on supermarkets to freeze their prices.
And with oil prices reaching their highest point since the Iran war started and warnings food inflation could peak at 10% this year, it's time for the government to take more radical action to keep costs down.
Elsewhere today, the Energy Secretary, Ed Miliband, is reportedly pushing to become the next Chancellor. Well, he'll only want the keys number 11, potentially, so that he can finance his net zero plans.
Yes, Ed Miliband is making a play for the Chancellor position under a potential Andy Burnham-led premiership. But what would an Ed Miliband-Andy Burnham partnership look like for the money in your pocket? Find out more with me very soon.
One of the measures introduced by Labour is to allow the flow of Russian oil into the UK. It is a U-turn that is telling of the economic pressures facing our country and indeed the government.
Channel 4 pulls Married at First Sight UK from all of its streaming platforms. It's following serious sexual assault claims made in a Panorama documentary.
And it's National Rescue Dog Day, and we're bringing attention to the countless pups looking for a forever home. We'll be live from a rescue very shortly.
A day to remember for Arsenal fans as they win the Premier League for the first time in 22 years.
Yes, 22 years wait is over. Since 2004, the Invincibles have held the memory of the Gunners fans here outside the Emirates. But now a new team, a new title, and for them, a new story. We'll be live here speaking to fans later in the programme.
Temperatures are on the rise, but there's still a few showers in the mix. I'll have all of the details coming up shortly.
Good Good morning, it's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Now, one thing I love about GB News viewers is they know everything about anything.
You do. You're very clever.
Aren't
and,
they?
And do you know what? I didn't know what a baby pigeon was.
And neither did I.
Yeah, but we do now.
What is a baby pigeon?
Exactly,
It's a good
Olivia.
question, Olivia,
Exactly.
I once saw a baby pigeon.
Did you?
No
I
one
have never
knows
seen
it's
a
a baby pigeon, but I did.
Did you?
They don't exist. They're not
In
real.
Greenwich Market.
Did you?
It's quite cute, actually.
Oh, they do exist. Well, they're not called a chick. They're called a squab.
That quite suits a baby pigeon.
It does.
Squab.
Sean, Noel, Robert, and several
Clifford.
others, Clifford,
yeah.
have been in touch saying it's a squab, a baby
Those were
pigeon.
pigeon names.
So there you are.
Well, they're all going to be on the pill soon. That's what they're doing in Italy. I
The
think, isn't it?
contraceptive pill,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're putting the pigeons on the pill to stop them from having more kids.
There's
So
two
a
more.
lot less squabs in the future. It's going to be a
bit sad.
population.
Plummeting
It's
birth
like our birth rate.
You just get Miriam Cates on top.
Yeah, she'll be against this, I'm sure. We'll find out from her. Actually, I'll ask her when she comes in the studio.
Yeah, how she feels about that.
I wonder what Miriam's not going to like much about that. But there we go. Pigeons, plague, rats of the skies, apparently. There you go.
Well, they are.
There we go.
Let's be honest.
Right. Olivia.
Should we talk
Should we
inflation?
talk about real news before we lose our minds this morning? Yes.
Yes, so reports this morning, Olivia, that Ed Miliband has made a major push to become Chancellor of the Exchequer. This is, of course, if Andy Burnham is successful and wins that top job as Prime Minister. What do you make of this?
Well, Ed Miliband definitely would like the chancellorship. He reportedly, and I think we can almost certainly say that it's true, has been pushing Keir Starmer to set out a timetable for his departure for a while now. We know that the relationship between Starmer and Miliband has been strained for a long time. It sounds as though last reshuffle, Keir Starmer made a play to get rid of Ed Miliband as his energy secretary in the hope that the Prime Minister could relax a little bit on the net zero targets, which Ed Miliband is so zealously pushing for. But Ed Miliband refused to go. And I think ever since then there has been strain between the two. Ideologically, Andy Burnham and Ed Miliband are a much closer match. Both of them are far more on the socialist wing of the party, on the soft left of the party. And I think Ed Miliband would be quite a natural chancellor for Andy Burnham. Andy Burnham's relationship with Rachel Reeves is strained too. The two of them were allies when Andy Burnham was last in government in 2015, but a lot has changed since then, and Rachel Reeves is very tight on her fiscal rules, keeps the Treasury with a very tight purse. That's not something that Andy Burnham likes very much. He famously said last year that he thought that Britain shouldn't be in hock to the capital markets. I don't think it's likely that Andy Burnham would happily inherit Rachel Reeves as his Chancellor. So I think it is quite possible that Ed Miliband could become Chancellor under an Andy Burnham Prime Minister. What would that mean for you? Well, there's not that much that Andy Burnham can do policy-wise differently because he would be running under the current Labour manifesto.
Yes.
But ideologically, we know what he wants to do. He wants to put up the top rate of tax. He'd like to see more wealth distribution generally. We could expect a more socialist Britain under Ed Miliband. What you make of that depends on your politics. We will have to see how it pans out, if it pans out, over the next few months. But I think Ed Miliband is in with a strong chance of being Chancellor, particularly as he said he would only stand for the leadership if Andy Burnham weren't standing. There is certainly loyalty between the two of them.
Yes, and indeed. Well, we're talking about economics, which is what we're talking about with Ed Miliband pushing, allegedly, to be Chancellor. Today, there's a 0.5% drop in inflation. However, Olivia, I always caveat this because inflation rates dropping are not the same as prices dropping, are they? Because at the end of the day, inflation is going up. This is not deflation we're talking about. It's just a drop in the rate at which inflation is rising.
Absolutely, and I think that's so important to remember. We are not seeing prices going down. We're just seeing them rise at a slower rate. And it's, yes, today the picture is looking a little bit better, but we do see fluctuations like this a lot. And if you look at a graph of the way prices have gone up since 2022, we are just climbing all the time with these small dips. Now, really interesting story in almost all of the papers today, saying that Rachel Reeves is trying to push the supermarkets to freeze prices cap prices for 20 most popular supermarket staples. Now, that would be a policy that hasn't been tried since the 70s and was pretty disastrous then. We know that the supermarkets are furious about this. Relationship between supermarket bosses and the Chancellor are very, very strained already. The supermarkets say that they are looking at impossible global headwinds. The price of oil, the price of fuel has gone up. It is much more expensive to sell food. And at the same time, there are all sorts of government taxes for them. They're facing high levies on energy bills, for example, VAT, business rates, etc., etc. So their argument is essentially, well, if you want to cut food prices, cut some of our taxes. And Rachel Reeves is saying, well, if you want to cut food prices, stop profiteering. They would very much deny that they're profiteering. I wonder how this will all play out. Perhaps this little drop in the inflation rate will give Rachel Reeves a little bit of breathing room and will stop her pushing ahead with this policy.
Something tells me I doubt it. Olivia, indeed. There we go.
Olivia, thank you very much indeed. Now, other big story today.
Yes, Arsenal have won their first Premier League title in 22 years after Manchester City were held at a 1-1 draw at Bournemouth.
Yes, Pep Guardiola's side dropped points in their penultimate match, the game in hand they had over their rivals. It's the first time the Gunners have been champions since 2004. Jubilation in North London overnight.
Yeah,
as you can imagine, lots of sore heads this morning.
GB News presenter Sam Francis is joining us now live from the Emirates. Sam, what's the scenes there?
Well, morning to you both. I've decided to clamber up to the top of the steps near the Emirates Stadium as crowds slowly start to gather and to keep away from as much of the rubbish that's been left strewn here across the streets in central London. We've been hearing from people as they pass by saying that they live nearby and they are quite disgusted by what's been left behind from many of the fans. But that has not stopped people gathering here again today after a late night celebration in triumph after 22 years waiting for a new era and a new story in the Gunners' history. And it didn't actually happen here last night at the Emirates. It took place around 100 miles or so down on the south coast as Man City tried to keep their hopes alive of steering through this Premiership against Bournemouth last night. But it wasn't to be. They drew, which was as good as a defeat for them, really. But that kept the hopes for Arsenal alive. And as that news broke, that they were indeed going to be crowned the Premiership champions, Pep Guardiola, the manager of Manchester City, gave his thoughts on what this all now means for his tenure as manager at Man City. Let's take a listen.
Congratulate Arsenal, Mikel, staff, backroom staff, fans for this Premier League, well deserved. In the first moment there is a problem, the players don't follow you anymore. And you have to stay there. And always we talk with my chairman, when we talk, Pep, what we're going to do, I said, let the season goes, and when will be over, we'll talk. But I think he deserved, right? When I deserved the first to talk about him, what do you have to do? I'm fine. So now is the moment with Ferran, with especially my chairman, to talk, and after that, we'll see what happens.
Well, this is the most exercise I've certainly had. I feel like a footballer myself. I'm running around up down these stairs. I don't know why, but it looks good, I think. For Arsenal supporters, they will continue celebrating ahead of Sunday's champion lifting trophy. That match against Crystal Palace still to play. But the celebrations start right here this morning outside the Emirates, and we'll be speaking to supporters for you a little bit later.
Fantastic stuff, Sam. I hope you've enjoyed your walkabout around outside Emirates. Sam, Alex was just saying that you're like king of Arsenal, the emperor of Arsenal.
We love to see it.
It's fantastic.
It's been a very weird show today, hasn't it? We've had so many odd things happen.
We lost it at the Pigeon.
We lost it at the Pigeon stuff. Me and Ellie were just having a look at the comments on Pigeons, and it's really divided you. It's actually divided you more than Ed Miliband becoming potentially Chancellor.
No, but that has...
So there you go.
You're not very happy about that as a plan.
No.
And also lots of comments on our Arsenal fan, Phil, and his interview with Paul Coit, the Spurs fan.
You should have seen Paul's face.
That was great telly.
Oh, that was fantastic. We think we should have that on a repeat, actually, tomorrow morning.
I think he should be a regular guest. I just think there's two of them.
Do you know what? Actually, I think we should get him in the studio next time.
For a face-to-face.
Face-to-face showdown. We don't even need a 7:20 debate. It's just Paul versus Phil. Just Paul versus Phil on anything.
Very good, very, very good. Anyway, keep the views coming in. gbnews.com/you'll say.
That's right. It's a great British giveaway, thank goodness for that. Here's the countdown to summer, 76,543. 21 pence. Just someone put it on the screen.
There's a totally tax-free £76,543.21 in cash to be won. Cash to spend on anything you like. That's like having over £6,000 extra to spend each month for a whole year. You could spend it on a bucket list holiday, treats for all of the family, or just save it for a rainy day. Just make sure you don't miss your chance to win £76,543.21 for a chance to win £76,543.21 in tax-free cash. Text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
John here. This has just set me over the edge, John. I'd rather have as a pigeon as Chancellor than Ed Miliband.
I'd rather have a pigeon as the Chancellor instead of Ed Miliband. Yes.
You lot are on form today, I have to say.
Very good.
You've been highly entertaining. Thank you.
Steve's been in touch on Arsenal's win last night, saying I bet our very own Ben Leo had a few drinks. He's in Washington, D.C., isn't he? Because I said text him and see how he's feeling this morning.
Yeah.
And
He's asleep.
you reminded me he's actually in the US. He's asleep.
He's not here. He's not here. I don't know how many Arsenal fans there are in Washington, D.C. either. Maybe it's just him.
Now, interesting you say that, because one of our producers, Will Mayrick, was in Washington, D.C. last night, and he said...
He's an Arsenal fan, is he?
No, I don't think so.
No.
But he went out for the atmosphere, and he said he felt like he was in Arsenal.
Oh, wow, there you go.
Because there were so many Arsenal fans.
There you
go. And apparently, Nanny Lulu's been in touch saying that Ben Leo went out and got sunburnt on his own, apparently, yesterday in celebrations. There you go. That's what Ben Leo's been up to.
Yeah, it sounds like he's having a good time. Get some lotion if you're watching, Ben. If you're up early, put some lotion on it.
OK. Do stay with us. Still to come, GB News is heading to West Sussex to celebrate National Dog Rescue Day. That's next.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 17 minutes past 9. Now, the Metropolitan Police have urged potential victims of sexual assault who appeared on the Channel 4 reality show Married at First Sight to get in contact with them. It's after female participants made allegations of rape and sexual misconduct.
Well, we're now joined by parenting coach and author of the book Parenting Teens Positively, Thriving in a Changing World. Emma Bradley's joining us now. Good morning, Emma. Well, I guess we have to talk about this in as broad strokes as possible, because it is mostly about the changing world of reality TV, isn't it? It seems to be getting more and more outrageous. What do you think's driving all of this?
I think, you know, we are in a place where not only are these programmes watched at 9 o'clock, the most explosive points of them are then created into reels and shorts and stories and amplified. And I think, you know, our teenagers are not seeing this once, they're seeing it multiplied, and they're seeing it across all of their platforms, all of their social media. And this models behaviour, which is really concerning, because it models body image, it models conflict resolution, communication styles, what gets a status in society at the moment. And it just becomes the norm. You know, young teenagers and teens are seeing this as the norm. This is what, you know, 20-somethings, 30-somethings are doing. And it doesn't just, you know, entertain anymore. It guides young people, which is really scary.
Emma, we are seeing changes being made, aren't we? A huge focus on welfare. There's meant to be a better vetting, at least this is what we're told. There's meant to be better aftercare for contestants on these shows. But has it just got to the point now where the format is not compatible with what we're speaking about? Because despite all of these safeguards that are reportedly in place, we're still seeing very, very serious allegations, not only for Married at First Sight, but across a plethora of reality TV shows.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you go back to, you know, Big Brother, which is probably the original, it was a social experiment to see how strangers interact. Something that I was really interested in. My degree's in sociology, and I was fascinated by, you know, putting a group of strangers in and looking at how they communicated, you know, but it wasn't about relationships and the toxicity, and there wasn't that encouragement of, you know, building personal relationships with people that later programs have followed. You know, the brief has moved a long way from those first reality TV shows, and now it is all about, I think, drama and the most explosive. And, you know, as people that are drawn to these programs maybe want fame, they're doing more and more to elicit that and become the most talked about character.
Yeah, that's part and parcel of it, and they know what gets air. They know what gets airtime, right? They know how to capture the cameras, and you certainly see that with some of the more recent TV shows. However, are the production companies also to blame here? Because they are creating and facilitating environments that get more and more difficult for the contestants every year. For example, I have actually watched Married at First Sight, but I've watched the Australian version, and part of that, it seems every year the ante is being upped. It's always slightly more dramatic than the last year, slightly more putting the contestants at odds with each other. So are they trying to manufacture drama and put people in very difficult mental states, perhaps?
I think so. I think that there has to be some responsibility taken by the producers and the production teams around this, because again, it is about what gets them airtime, what gets them turned into those shorts and those Instagram reels and the YouTube clips, because so many of the metrics are based on how many people are watching. That turns into money. And, unfortunately, that is what then drives a lot of the stories that we see and how the editing is played out. I do think, some of the contestants I've sort of seen talking about the welfare that they've had, and it seems very hit and miss, and I think welfare and safeguarding is super important. And you do wonder how many of the producers and the teams around this are actually specialised in safeguarding and, how much they understand the nuances of looking after contestants on any of these programmes.
Okay, Emma Bradley, really good to get your thoughts on this morning. Thank you for joining us on GB News Breakfast.
Thank you.
All three men accused of wrongdoing on Married at First Sight UK deny the allegations. Channel 4 have also said this.
Channel 4 was asked to respond to claims of failures in welfare protocols. Channel 4 believes that when concerns related to contributor welfare were raised through existing welfare and production protocols, prompt and appropriate action was taken based on the information available at the time. Channel 4 strongly refutes any claim to the contrary.
Lawyers for CPL, the production company responsible for the show, told media that its welfare system indeed was gold standard and industry leading, and that it acted appropriately in all cases.
Now, Britain's newsroom is coming up at 9:30. Andrew Pearce and Miriam Cates are here to tell us all about it. Morning, you two.
An actual reality TV show. Real news.
Yes.
Real news, yeah.
Well, what have you got for us?
Miriam is wearing the appropriate colours, Soviet red.
Oh, yeah, there you
Welcome to the Soviet Union.
Oh,
Rachel
no.
Reeves' insane plan to make supermarkets cap a basket of prices for a basket of shopping. Absolute insanity.
It's incredible. A government's tried this again and again and again, most noticeably in Soviet Union and North Korea, and it doesn't work. We're going to end up with empty shelves and terrible products. What are they doing?
What are they doing? And it's their fault anyway. National insurance has gone up, the minimum wage has gone up, shoplifting is rampaging out of control. All of that impacts on the prices.
And yet, apparently, inflation is down, although it seems to be a bit of an artefact because it was so bad last April. We'll be digging into all of that. And also, which do you think is the most difficult times table that children find it hardest to answer?
Oh, that's a really good
The
question.
9 times table.
Nearly 6 times 9, apparently.
Is it really?
Oh.
Which is?
Oh, that's fascinating.
Which is, Alex? Which is?
Don't ask me right now, mate.
Oh, you must know.
Not off the top of my head.
And I'm old.
I could do. I've got a way to do the 9 times tables in my head, but I'm not.
9 times are 81.
You're not going to reveal it. It's a trade secret.
36.
Well, there you go. All that's coming up after your weather forecast.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. After a showery day yesterday, it is going to be drier out there today with sunny spells. Still a few showers around, and it is going to be feeling warmer before those temperatures do start to rise later on in the week. So a lot of cloud around first thing this morning, some hill fog in places, but the cloud will tend to lift and break up. We'll see some glimmers of sunshine, a few showers around, especially across the central parts of England. The focus for the showers, though, through today is going to be across Scotland. Some of those merging into longer spells of rain to the far north into Orkney. Still quite breezy out there, but temperatures rising 18 to 21 degrees in the best of any sunny spells. As we head through this evening then, we see that band of showery rain across Orkney and Shetland gradually push its way northwards. Showers persisting across much of northern parts of Scotland. To the south, some late evening sunshine. Cloudy across Northern Ireland, and that persisting into northern England, into much of Wales and the southwest of England. But most of the showers will start easing and fading away as we go through the evening and into the night. So across the south, generally holding on to dry conditions overnight, but out towards the west, cloud and further spells of rain moving into Northern Ireland, into Wales, northern England, and eventually ending into southern parts of Scotland. With the cloud or rain around, temperatures will be holding up, so it's going to be another mild start to Thursday morning, only lows around 9 to 12 degrees. So a damp picture first thing on Thursday morning across a northern part of England. England and into Scotland with outbreaks of rain here. Showery outbreaks of rain possible across Wales as well. Best of the sunshine through Thursday afternoon is going to be across the south of England. And here, temperatures rising nicely in the sunshine, highs of up to 24 degrees. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go, or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A77 northbound Bogend off-slip is closed for roadworks. On the M25 anti-clockwise between junctions 26 and 25, one lane is closed due to a collision, expected to clear after 10:15. The A5 bridge is closed both ways for inspection works. The A27 westbound in East Sussex has one lane closed due to an overturned vehicle. All lanes are shut on the A303 eastbound in Wiltshire from an accident. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and cross-country services between Birmingham New Street and Stafford are disrupted. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning, 9:30 on Wednesday, the 20th of May, live across the UK, Britain's newsroom with Andrew Pearce and Miriam Cates.
Well, the Chancellor is taking a food price cap gamble. The government tells supermarkets to limit grocery prices to ease the cost of living.
And breaking news, inflation fell to 2.8%, but economists warn it's a temporary blip and things are going to get a lot worse in the summer.
I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory.
Well, MPs hand the Prime Minister the blueprints for how to enforce digital ID, claiming his attempts so far have been a fiasco. But make no mistake, it's coming soon because the King said so last week.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID.
It gives me no pleasure to say the expected cost of completing HS2 is now between £87.7 billion and £102.7 billion.
Off the rails or off their trolley, take your pick. The world's most expensive high-speed rail line, HS2, will be slower, more expensive and will be delayed for another 13 years.
Meanwhile, the government says there must be consequences for criminality or wrongdoing after 2 women alleged they were raped during filming of Married at First Sight UK.
But I will not say with confidence that we're going to reach a deal until we're actually signing a negotiated settlement here.
That's US Vice President J.D. Vance rejecting forever war fears and claims progress has been made on peace talks.